After snapping a 5-session win streak for stocks on Monday, futures back in positive territory, albeit ever so slightly here this morning as energy markets continue their impressive rally. Oil straight to the upside right now, back in positive territory on the day, and then some, coming off a huge rally on Monday. Fed Chair Powell scaring the market on Monday, saying the Fed open to, and the central bank open to, higher rate hikes going forward in an effort to control inflation. The Dow ends the day down about 200 or 0.6. S&P and NASDAQ both marginally lower when all was said and done as well. On the day yesterday, markets also continue to watch the latest developments coming out of Ukraine with the Russia situation. No significant change at this point this morning. The big story Monday, the EU suggesting they could follow the U.S. in banning Russian oil. That led to that 7+% move for crude oil, as I mentioned already, back to the upside here. So we'll have a look at some of the energy stocks this morning. Nike with a pretty impressive report and a nice move here in the pre-market. Not a lot of volume yet, but we'll have a look at Nike. And yeah, Alibaba increasing their share buyback program in a big way. So big move for Baba this morning. It's Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there's a board. Look at how we stand so far this morning. It's the Dow leading right now, 0.4 for the futures anyways. The NASDAQ, S&P both back in positive territory. Good to see. All three were red when I sat down initially this morning. Yeah, that crude oil number, not correct at this point. I have 0.8 right now for crude oil. So we'll have a look at that. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum also back to the upside. So here we go again. Going to have a look at some of these oil stocks again this morning. Put on the note before we send it out, oil going red to green here in the pre-market, and then some as we continue to watch these headlines coming out of Ukraine. Good morning, guys. Tuesday, an interesting one setting up here. As I said, markets trying at least to hold on to positive territory so far.
Yes, sir. Welcome, of course. We're back every single day, of course. But as Brendan mentioned, oil still going to be in play. Yeah, I see it right at those highs from yesterday. So we're gonna have to watch. You gotta watch your Oxys, your Chevrons, whatever vehicle it is that you want to trade it. The momentum has been there, and we can't be ignoring it. So we're gonna get back on that well until it runs dry. That's probably a horrible pun, but either way, there's a lot to get to. I know we have Carnival that's going to be reporting before market. I prefer after market, but here we go anyways. And then we'll take a look at Nike. It's not doing a heck of a lot of volume, but lots of runners this morning, including this Dragonfly DPRO. So that one's doing a ton of volume. 3 times the amount of volume in Dragonfly than in Mullen of all things. So that one's firmly on the radar as well.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm looking at Oxy. I mean, you can't ignore Oxy today, for sure. Frog in the throat. But yeah, welcome, guys. Another day, another dollar here. Oil up to 111 right now and starting to move. We have that down here. The NASDAQ just floating around positive as well. We have Oxy on our radar looking at like 61, 61.50 up here. That's the break yesterday, 61.50. So we'll see if that high holds. I believe it does not. And we can go long on Oxy soon today. Bunch of names on here. I'm really loving Alibaba. We've been long. I mean, it's unbelievable that we had the long down at 73, 74, 75. It's up to 113 today on a $25 billion buyback. And I mean, we talked about how low their PE was. It was like 3 or something like that back down when near it was 70. A monster move up. We had some trades yesterday, and Alibaba done pretty well. And then today we'll look to do the same thing off this 112. Looking at like a 111 kind of bottom there, but you know, we are expecting some names to fall around here today. But it's 8:35, and we're ready to rock and roll here at Trader TV Live.
Yeah, Chinese regulators also working on getting some of the audits ready for the SEC and U.S. securities. So we'll have a look at the Chinese group coming up here. Was going to mention as well, there was a little bit of a move to the downside initially in some of the banks, the 10-year coming off a little bit. We'll have a look at the 10-year, some of the treasury yields to the downside again this morning. Anyways, before we do, let's bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please make sure you like this video and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yep, let's get it started, guys. Lots to discuss as per usual as we head towards the open here. This was a note this morning on the latest, anyways, coming out of the EU. Yeah, some of the EU, I guess, Parliament and also some of the regulators, anyways, split on the decision on whether or not to ban Russian oil. If you remember yesterday, they were talking about they might follow suit and ban Russian oil as the U.S. did, and that sent crude up more than 7%. So a bit of a wait and see here for oil markets this morning, but oil itself back to the upside.
Yeah, certainly, and like you said, like a bit of a wait and see. But we can sort of acknowledge A, the trend, B, you know, when we look at the chart, like the head and shoulders going on here, like that sort of thing. It's just weird, like. Not really a big chart formation person yet, all over the place, and it has to do with the volatility in the market you're seeing recently, these sort of head and shoulder patterns. But if the breakout is going to continue here, it's going to have to get through a significant level. I'm talking about oil futures. Now, what we've seen the last few weeks is, and we're talking about Oxy, is it hasn't really mattered as much. You want to be with the trend, but it hasn't mattered as much in terms of velocity, the upside, what we're doing in oil. As long as you're not screaming down, it's managed to find a way to run. But I am going to be watching that 114 that Brendan mentioned here. Like that'll be pretty big. If oil futures make that break, fantastic for Oxy. But I mean, as long as we can hold 110, I think that's what matters more to me. Like you hold support levels. Oxy on the daily chart is very different story, right? Like it's heading towards another potential break or at least retest of those highs. Yesterday was 59. I like to dip into that price here today, just as long as we're not absolutely cratering. But we saw that a couple of weeks ago, where we're cratering in oil futures, and it didn't. Well, not cratering, but a big pullback. And Oxy, Chevron wouldn't go, Oxy wouldn't go to the downside. So I'm going to lean towards buying the dip. You had that bottom from yesterday in the afternoon, which is shy of that 59 breakout price. It got to 59.5. So I like this 59 for support on Occidental. I want to be buying into it. Just got to keep your eye on that futures chart. You don't want to be crashing through that 110 when you pick up that bid.
I'm adding Upstart here to my list. Yeah, I didn't. I missed it there on the sticky note. But okay, so we'll add Upstart to the sticky note. So check it out in a second once I tweet it out. The sticky note's already out at Trader TV Sean. You can go have a quick look. But I'm adding Upstart to that. Look, Oxy's been so freaking strong the last couple days here. I mean, make that bottom at 52 just during Fed. Like that was the 15th, $52, 53, 57, 59, 62.50 yesterday, all the way to the upside. We know that Warren Buffett declared a 10% stake for his Berkshire B, BRK.B, Berkshire Hathaway. And, since then, I mean, not since then, it's been a big move for a long time. Just a month ago here back, this is not even a month ago, let's call it, February 24th, close enough, you're $38. Now you're 61. Obviously, we've seen what's happened with oil. I don't think oil's stopping. And what I wrote today, I think it's going to have a temporary stop. Neil just went over some of the charts there. But, that's still Upstart. Come on, switch over to Oxy. This is the level that I was looking at, 61.50 from yesterday here. Nice little move off the open. Bang. What a crazy move off the open. $57 up to 62. Oil did run yesterday as well, up to that 111. So if oil can run again today, not to say that we would see a $4 or $5 move, 57.50 up to 62.50, but why couldn't we just use this as a base here, 60 half, something like that, then hit 61.50 through. So if this market, and we're going to watch oil, if it starts to go, and hopefully I'll be able to notice it. Sometimes we're a little busy off the open, but the 61.50, I like it. This is a stock that I like, and if we can take that long, I think that we're going to play the momentum in Oxy and never look back. So that 61.60, if we can hit that long, we'll break it through, and then we'll notice yesterday's high, probably get something out around 62, obviously, and then look to 62, 62.50, and then after that, we'll figure it out. So let's watch to see what oil does. I don't think we'll trade Oxy if oil kind of just does its thing here. This is a minute chart. It has already made a move from 108 up to 111. So if we could break that 111, then at that point, I believe Oxy, and again, it has to happen during the market. I'm not going to take it in the pre-market, but that 61.50 break looks pretty damn looking good. Before we throw it back, Brendan, let me just check out what's here on the imbalance, because sometimes we do have some oil names on here. I don't see any right now, so for now it's very, very light. I mean, when you're going through the 10th name here and you're at like 80,000 for NEO, that's a pretty light day here on the imbalances. So nothing here for Oxy, but we'll keep our, oh, there it is. There's a small, I don't know if you guys can see at the very bottom, there's a small right near Nike there. Let me put it up a little bit here. Very, very small, man, 50,000 shares. So now it's even gone. So anyways, Oxy on the list, but small today, Brendo.
Yeah, lots of time to go here. Keeping my eye out, guys, for CCL numbers, results. They're typically late to the party every time they report for earnings, but nothing yet. I'll have it in this window when it does come through. Neil, you were just asking about this PALI. So they've received a FDA approval to go ahead with a phase 3 clinical trial for one of their treatments that they're working on. Also wanted to talk about Apple, guys, because there's a few individual kind of sub-stories, I guess, for Apple. This one of them, which kind of caught my eye this morning, again, just a rumor, 2025 Apple car, could it be built by Porsche? They've hired a former chassis development head at Porsche to lead this project. So we've heard a number of different angles as far as which way they could go for manufacturing this car. But this is the latest. I guess Porsche could be involved.
Oh, that's just what I don't need. My wife already loves the Cayenne. It's like, yeah, that's how you sucker people. If Porsche were to design an electric vehicle powered by Apple, it'd be tremendously popular. I think the bigger story for Apple, and I think for the broader market today, because we're basically flat. NASDAQ's flat. ES is slightly to the upside here, but overall, it has more to do with, I think, what Powell came through with a little bit more harsh talk. But I don't know, man. He's been leading towards the whole notion that they'll do what's necessary, and you could get 6 or 7 hikes. And so I don't know that it should have been that big of a surprise that he says we could get 50 basis points. But I think that's the bigger story for now when it comes to Apple. Now, they jump into the EV space. I think the bigger story is how crowded it already is, and certainly what that might mean for other competitors. So at some point, I think that's just a further sort of a headwind for a lot of the smaller names out there that you can see more pressure on their pricing. But I look at Apple and I see us right at that 50 period average. We're bounced off the 200, and you're just sort of sitting at this 165, 166, and look at that top here as the market's trying to pick a direction. And someone asked a question this morning about, it was like NVIDIA, you bullish or bearish. I said in this range, I mean, you're right at overhead resistance, and we need to break out. Like, it feels like we're sort of consolidating, if anything, near some of these tops. And, Apple as a barometer at 166.50 is not a bad one, but there's a lot of names that just feel like, okay, we've had that nice little rally to the upside. Do we need to consolidate after a break? It's a great sign that after Powell, we were able to sort of rally at the end of the day, but we're not really taking out any of those highs. Like, I'm looking at Tesla 950. That's one that we had some trouble getting through or getting to yesterday. Apple 166.50 fits into that as well. I think that story probably bodes worse for your. I don't want to pick on anybody, but I guess your workhorses, your Rivians, your Lucids of the world, than it means anything for Apple per se.
Yeah, I think all those companies have short shelf lives once Apple comes through. I mean, there's only going to be so many winners in the EV space. I mean, look, even with cars now, I mean, there are many different car companies. I mean, there is an example of being able to survive. It's just, I feel like, with this amalgamation, if it doesn't matter, I don't really care who Apple does it with. It doesn't matter. Hyundai, Porsche, Kia, whatever it is. GM, I guess would be Kia there. But yeah, look, I'm just excited about the stock. We talked about it, and I don't even care what the news is. New phone, new satellite, new car, new whatever. I'm not, helicopter. This is Apple. They operate amazing. They're one of the best run companies around. They continue to outperform the market. I mean, I look at my portfolio and it's almost like, hopefully many of you are in the same way. It hasn't hit you that hard because you're long in a lot of these big time names. And we've already got a gift. I mean, we talked about this last week, man. We made Mr. Cross your offer there, Platinum Prad, when Arun was here. He was talking. I'm like, like, bro, why are you waiting for 150? Just buy the damn stock. And I think he got 150.50s, and then a week later he's at 165. Meanwhile, he's buying DraftKings and wondering when it's going to get back up to its price. I mean, you buy Apple on any dips and you don't worry about it. They're going to execute. They're going to execute fine. Are they out? I mean, my only problem is maybe a lack of focus. Like, do they need to be looking at an electric vehicle? Sure, it's a nice add to the portfolio. Should they be maybe focusing on, I mean, they just released Apple TV, which is kicking crazy butt. Like, Ted Lasso's winning all of the awards. I mean, that's what you want to see. I don't know. I worry if they're getting a little too thin with their focus, but hey, let's go with the Apple car, man. I think Porsche is going to be a monster. The Taycan, or Taycan, whatever that electric vehicle is there. The Cayenne is big as well. And my dad had a 911, but he got rid of that a couple years ago. So midlife crisis avoided.
Yeah, pretty impressive if that was the case right across the board. But we'll see. More rumors anyways. I wanted to give a shout out here to a former guest on this show. This Dragonfly, DPRO, we had them on going back to last August. Cameron Chell is chairman and CEO of Dragonfly. So they signed a deal this morning for some critical life-saving drone work in Ukraine. So a nice story, a nice order for them, for the company. So DPRO up 80% here in the pre-market. All kinds of volume, guys. Pretty positive, but former guest on this show doing some things.
Yeah, it's really cool, right? Like it's one of the fun things about being able to do this is we have so many great guests on, and to see a story like this, and ultimately everyone understands the stakes here with the conflict in Ukraine. But for them to get 200 unit order for their drones, it's a great story for the company, obviously, and at a time when just the way that these momentum stocks are going, you have to consider the type of catalyst here might give it a little bit of extra oomph. Like, I've been watching it, and ever since it got through $3, now this was the level I was going to be watching. It was going to be $3, and then we broke that. And as it retests this area on the daily chart, sort of coming back into here now, that'd be huge if it can hold up, because you have had a lot of chop. It's been a lot of time going back and forth between $3 and $4. So, holding above that range does give it some upside potential. A lot of times, a spike like this, once it took out $3, I usually be sitting in a short. Like, you just sort of short like 299 or 98 or something like this. I ended up not doing that, just feeling like there might be some momentum in this bad boy today. And I'd feel a little bit better if we actually tried a long initially off of some of these pre-market dips and ignore some of these wicks here, guys. Like, these pre-market dips and this consolidation break is like 290. These prices here, you get some of these dark pools that just came through and printed 280s, but this was trading firmly in 311, 310, 320 area here, and we didn't break down to 197 or anything. I was watching the stock. I had it up the whole time. Just some dark pool prints coming through. So it's really held this 290 to $3 level very well, and I'm going to start bullish on this stock and try to be buying in this range closer to the open.
Yeah, so I've looked at this, but honestly, like, don't ever make too much money trading these names, but definitely moving around 22 million shares. Great, like Brendan said and Neil said, great to have these guys on the show and give you an example of, I don't know, do we have a date of when they were on? I'm not sure, but August. Okay, so you can see here from a daily chart, I mean, obviously we're just not even back to where we were there. So you're going to be able to see here some levels. And the reason why I bring that up is that a lot of these names, these new names, with very few products and, a few deals, they did get hammered throughout this last, I don't know, obviously 6 months or so. So it's nice to see them come back into this level. And that's what I was wondering about, because you're right into here with that bottom of 260, right? So watch out for that level. That breaks, you're going southbound for sure. So I'd look short on this name and then hit it short through 260, but I won't be playing this name.
All right, we mentioned a number of cybersecurity names yesterday that were moving around. CYRN, one of those. OKTA comes out this morning. Looks like the latest to be involved in some sort of data breach. Worth mentioning, though, I mean, none of these cybersecurity stocks really doing anything in the pre-market here, but we saw them pick up yesterday on that note from the White House suggesting that all of them should beef up their current products and, make available, I guess, better and more secure products for the market. But OKTA, guys, the latest here to be involved in a data breach.
It's like there's one of these every single day. at this particular point. And I mean, all it really does is give more reason for some of these cybersecurity names to just absolutely go nuts, right? Like, whether it's CrowdStrike or whether it's Palo Alto. Some of the small cap ones have been doing pretty well. Every now and then you'll get like one of those big bumps in a run in a tiny one like an IronNet. But the only reason I want to bring this up, despite the lack of volume, is just have a quick look at what's going on in the stock and the 50 period here. Like, ever since you had like that death cross, it's not like it's screamed down, but you're not even touching the 50 period each time it sort of gets up higher. And you look at what happened yesterday. So if I find patterns like this, you almost don't want to ignore them. And the reason it's worth bringing up is not necessarily because I see a trade here today, but when you had that double top and you see this little pop through 175 and a failed breakout and then a trend to the downside, that just also coincides with what was going on in the stock, which is running away from that 50 period. And I think as you see names in this bounce start to come up like this, this 3 or 4 day rally or this week-long rally that we've had, there are a few that run into that overhead resistance and are trying to turn. That's what I was sort of getting at with the broad market and some of those bellwether type of names. Because if we don't break through, well, the names that have been the weakest bouncing this entire time off levels like that are going to be your awesome shorting opportunities. So there's a few names that I think are going to be pretty interesting. Of course, we'll definitely talk about the weakest name today, which is Upstart on the upgrade and downgrade list. I feel like we already know what's there because it's on the watch list, though.
Yeah, let's go over to Brendan. Yeah, let's go over to Brendan for the upgrades and downgrades as I stare at this list. Coinbase, which downgraded today, but you can see Bitcoin. Let's go Bitcoin right now. Feel like you're at a carnival. Bitcoin, Brendan, up to 43,000 right now, and Ethereum just took out 3,000 as well.
Speaking of Bitcoin, guys, Block on here as well, top of the list on the upgrade side of things. There's Nike. Cron, I just asked Ms. V if she was correct on that, but Cron on here, P&G. There's Coinbase, as Sean mentioned, Pinduoduo, Upstart, and Canopy over here to the downside, guys.
So one is upgraded, one is downgraded. So we'll be like,
what is that bank that upgraded? Oh, yes.
Pinduoduo. There's been Coinbase. What we talked about here with Coinbase was a nice little upgrade up to 180 today, but you're just rocking right now. I mean, I've talked about this last week about how steady crypto's been. Here's Bitcoin. Like, it's about as stable as can be. Like, this almost looks like a stable coin right now. Like 35,000 bouncing around, not doing a whole hell of a lot. We've touched 45. We've remained pretty solid. I mean, I could call up a chart here of the NASDAQ and you'd see much different than this, right? If you go over to a 1 hour, or that's a 1 minute. We don't need a 1 minute. Let's go over to a 1 hour move. Nice little bottom of 38,000 over the last couple weeks. That's held beautifully. I mean, I guess the very bottom was 37, but 38's held nicely, 39. I mean, even if we up that, that's right here. Now you just broke out past this 42's 5 area. Next level, 45 for sure, I feel like. And then that might be an area of concern. So 45,000 may be coming here on Bitcoin looking at the top. So I think that that's something to be concerned about. Not concerned. I mean, I think it's fantastic. And when you look at Coinbase, again, there's some lawsuits going down through Coinbase. They came with a crazy valuation, got as high as 360. Cannot believe that we were able to sell some up there before they reported, and it just absolutely tanked. So we got out of the way of some of this Coinbase when it made, and I talked about this, made its full journey back to IPO. So as soon as that happened and we were able to get long down here, we did exit some Coinbase. Honestly, this is not a name I want to be in. I don't even think it's an investable name. I am in Coinbase though, but it has to go a lot lower for me to be excited about this. Obviously downgraded by people smarter than I, so let's just wait to see where it goes. But with Bitcoin bumping now, you have to look at some of these levels, like a 186, 188 long. For me, honestly, like I think you can get back down into here. I don't even know what. I mean, I say all this, but I don't even know what their PE is. I can't believe it's that great. It's still 70. Oh man, honestly, no, I can't. I can't. Like I said, I'm happy as hell to get out of some Coinbase because, I still hold some. Obviously going to be underwater. I'll check the price on it. But, I'm not happy with their execution. You would think with the stability of Bitcoin and things like that they'd be trading a little bit better. Maybe FTX is eating some of their lunch. There's many exchanges that are out there now. They got denied by the FTC for some of their products that they wanted to release, some interest-bearing products and things like that. And then now today I see with Galaxy Digital, which is, it's GLXY in Toronto. I wish I don't know if it's what it is here, but anyways, they're teaming up with Goldman now to release their first Bitcoin trust, I believe it was today as well. So lots of stuff happening, and honestly, Coinbase is, I'm not a huge fan, but I am a shareholder.
And Jim Chanos announced on Friday he has a big short position, or I shouldn't say big, because I don't know if he said how big, but short position on Coinbase. And it's another one of those names. It's just like we talked about a second ago. Hopefully you guys can see that, the 50 period. I should make that a little bit darker, but you can see that sort of riding it and unable to break. And you're seeing that sort of trend. And it's the same setup, right? Like it was sort of rejecting the 50 period, and then you try to get to the upside, you get that big flush. So if you hold that pattern here today, and now keep in mind, this is in the context of Bitcoin trying to rally here, so you do want to watch spot prices at least a little bit. And it's not a direct correlation, but you want to be careful with it, that you have some fadeable levels here on Coinbase in particular. Whether it's a big break up to 185, 186, where you're looking at last week's highs, or simply holding this trend, and then you'd be trying to break out that top at 181 and a quarter or so, right at 930, and then you're playing that fade trade, which is what worked yesterday. And this is the pattern I was watching this morning, because there were so many of these in yesterday's trade, and there were some good shorts yesterday. I'm not going to complain about the ones we had, but there were so many of these. When you look back at the daily chart, it's basically the same setup over and over again, rejecting a major average, moving average, rejecting Friday's highs, and then pulling back. So this one has overhead resistance as well, but also that big short by Jim Chanos. You saw what happened to DraftKings after he announced his short there.
Still waiting for CCL earnings. Not really expecting anything to shock the world when it comes to Carnival. Yeah, no. Not out yet for Carnival, but worth a mention here at least, guys. This HLBIZ, HLBZ deal with Amazon Prime. So some of their products going to be on Amazon Prime, just spiked up to 4 there, but right back down. So 10% move for that one. Meta, we saw on watch yesterday for a whole bunch of different reasons. Few people talking about FB once again this morning, guys.
Facebook?
Oh, load.
Okay, yeah, I looked at Facebook today, but I hadn't had much going through with them here today. A little bit of a movement up to 211, 212 coming through, 212.15, tomorrow's high. We traded it yesterday, that was the day before. Yesterday, this is the one where we got out of the way. We were thinking long on Facebook at these exact levels down here to 212 before that failed and went down to 208 yesterday and then bounced off those levels. So we're looking at some of those levels again if the market does fade in, but the market's doing quite nice today. Nice little rebound off this 14,370 bottom. I really like that, and I want to be long Facebook as much as I can. It's been a huge rally over the last couple days, making that bottom at 186 and then bumping all the way to 216. Like, that's huge, man. Like, that's 16, that's 30, 35 bucks straight upside. So I mean, that's great. You did have obviously that pullback down there to that 208 like we just talked about. So into there, I think we got some decent support levels. We supported 208 yesterday. Nothing's really changed as far as I'm concerned about Facebook. So if we can get a dump into like 209.50, 208, something like that, Facebook is on the radar for me. And I think that it's just too bad that they are like, so evil in everybody's mind, because Facebook really outperforming. They have huge sales. They have lots and lots of upside catalysts, in my opinion. But again, they have the privacy issues, and that's never going to fade them. So I'm not too worried about the Russia ban. I feel like, once Russia gets back online, they'll initiate Facebook again, and then that should be a bump for them. But for right now, I think you just try to wait for that long at 208, 209.
Yeah, like to me, that was like support hopefully for this entire week, if it can hold up there in a consolidation. We're going over that one yesterday. One thing to keep in mind with Facebook is, unlike the other names that we're sort of showing you that have been pulling back or bouncing off those levels, that's nowhere near to approaching, like, forget about where it consolidated after the dump on earnings. 240, 245 was that high. That also sets up as a 50 period. This stock, it's still 15% away from that, right? So that's a lot of room to run. So it's still in that bucket of, yes, big cap, but definitely has some higher potential volatility in it. So, when you get some of these moves, you anticipate it's going to maybe move a little bit more than your average $200 stock, and it can continue that trend. But it's that 208 that has to hold. And if it holds that this week, you are set up for a potential break. And if you make another break, there's just so much room for this to get back to that 240 level, which makes it on your watch list basically every day. It has to be.
All right, let's bring in Arun, get a check of the overall market here. Arun will be in the building for the remainder of the week. Sean off for the remainder of the week for a much needed holiday. So we'll see Arun quite frequently over the next couple of days. I mean, we saw Powell come out yesterday, Arun, and kind of turn things on its head, and we went straight back to the downside. What are you looking at today?
Well, we did a lot yesterday, but we ended up nowhere. Pretty much where we started, right? We closed around 60 or so, 50 something, into the 60s, and we're starting off today. And the markets are barely up, maybe 1/3% on the S&P, 0.2, 0.18 actually on the NASDAQ, and we're kind of looking to go higher after quite the week last week. It seems like the market has wanted to take a break, and it deservingly so has taken a break yesterday, kind of going back and forth and going flat at the end of the day. And now here we are going back to the upside slightly. Again, this is just drift at this point, but if the break that the market needed is done with, then we can continue our trend to the upside. If that's the case, we're going to have to work some levels here. But 4,500 has been the resistance level up top. That's still in play. We're going to see if we can find a short in front of that. For now, I'm going to say no, because it does look like the market wants to continue, at least take a look at the top end of this range here. The overnight top is around 73 or something like that. If we were to continue higher, respect it. It looks like it wants to take a shot there. So why not go with the upside? If we can get past 75, I'm willing to mark off 50 as a new potential support level. So we have then 44.50 and 4,500, and we just got to figure out a way whether we can find some longs close to 50, or if we need to go for the shorts close to 4,500. And of course, if we lose 44.50, then we have all the way down 43.50. So 100 points from the 44.50, we have 43.50. So as long as we can maintain buy strength and keep the step rally, it's pretty much going in a step fashion, right? It's going up, taking a break, going up. As you saw on Thursday, Friday, took a break yesterday. Now it's today an extension. And if that's the case, another move to the upside would break that 4,500. And if we were to take 4,500, next up would be 45.50 above that. So we've got a few levels to choose with. It seems to be about 50 points apart. So 45.50, 4,500. And if we take the 75s, then we have 44.50 as well. For now, though, looks like the market wants to take a look at at these overnight highs. Let's see if we can get that done. If that's the case, 44.50 can be worked with for a long.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We will check back in again tomorrow. Let's jump into the rest of what we need to know. Heading towards the open here, we have less than 30 minutes to go before the market opens, guys. That's the link to the absolutely free morning watch list we send out every single day. Miss V will help you out in the chat with that link if you do need it. Alibaba, so they went from 10 billion to 15 billion back in August, and now they go from 15 billion to 25 billion on this current buyback. So a nice move here pre-market so far anyways for Baba.
I mean, up 9% here, continues to rock and roll. Still not back to those levels that Charlie Munger liked it at 128, 130, but still a nice little move up for Alibaba, another 10% today. I'm looking at this 111 area right here as some sort of a support. That was the high a couple days ago. Then yesterday we faded back in here, 104. We had some good trades into Alibaba yesterday, including some shorts. We were trying to go long. We took that 105 break long. That didn't work. Then we reversed into the short and then played around with it a little bit in the afternoon. But big moves off the open. We opened up at 104. We went down to this 101. So we do know that there is a lot of opportunity for Baba to move. Then it shot from 101 up to 106. Then went all the way back down to 98.50 and sort of ended the day pretty calmly, just dancing around 102 up to 104 and then using that 104 as the top. And then today it's like, boom, you get a big move upside here on that buyback. And I love when companies buy shares back. It shows that, you know, they're at least giving something back to the shareholders instead of sitting on some of their cash. It also does state that, you know, maybe they don't have any investable ideas. I don't think that's true for Alibaba. Alibaba's working for sure. Obviously, the politics get in the way here when we talk about Alibaba. But if we just zoom in just a little bit, it's this top. Like, I feel like this is now better news for Alibaba. So, you know, they come in, they should be higher on this. It's a better buyback. There is some investigations now into leading into their delisting, looking at some of the books of a Neo, a JD, and there's some Pinduoduo, Baidu, all these Chinese listed names. The U.S. wants to look at some of their books again, and I know Alibaba, I believe it's either PricewaterhouseCoopers, I believe it is, I'm just going to go with them.
It's one of the big.
Who's already auditing them. They came with, you know, and I'm sure it's the same for a lot of these Chinese names. So I'm not super concerned about an audit of any sort. They still have Ant, which is their fintech arm. I think like we don't even talk about that anymore. Look, I'm not an Alibaba fanboy, but I do like the name. I mean, I like it a hell of a lot better down here. But right now it's up, and it's up nicely. And I think we got to play the momentum in Alibaba. I mean, it is what it is. They're here on a big buy again on the imbalance locator. So I feel like Alibaba works today to the upside. It's just a matter of what price you get. And I mean, and because it's a buy imbalance, I always feel like that means we could fade back in. So I'm just sitting here right now. I'm already sitting trying to buy 111.50s. So if that can come in, we'll get long 111.50 on Alibaba. It's $2 down. That's nothing on this move. We can retrace that. It's just, I don't want to hold this all the way back down. We could be wrong. This could sell off with the market. And then our 110 gets cracked, our 111 gets cracked down here near 110. I'm going to try to hold this though to 108. So I feel like 108 is going to be the bottom here for Alibaba. It's the #1 list here on the sticky note. So again, thank you for joining. If everybody here hits up Twitter at TraderTVSean or just goes to our website, tradertv.live, there's links to all of our Twitters. You'll see it on here, but here's a talk about Alibaba. And thank you so much for the love on this already. 69 likes and a big 30 retweets. I mean, that's the thing. The more people look at this, the more they look at these names, the more volume comes into them, and then we get some good ideas. Oops, I used hashtag Nike. Should have been $sign Nike right there. But Baba, Nike, Oxy, Neo, and Palantir all on the sticky note today. I like the stock.
Yeah, I bought the same levels for Alibaba, and but the difference between Baba and some of the other names we just looked at is it's broken the 50 period several times, except for here on the biggest bounce from the bottom, and it's just brushing on top of it. So you look at that, and it's also broken out, right? So as long as it's above this high from Friday, then I think you can stay bullish. Now, if it's below that, I'm not looking for any dip buys below that price. Like, once it breaks a 110, I think you're under too much risk of being on the short side. But I look at what's happening in a related name, like Pinduoduo, which had the mixed earnings, had that failure at the top yesterday, that double top we talked about, up 7% and getting dragged with Alibaba. So if I want to short something, I look at this, which still has some room to run to that 50 period, but cannot seem to get there, can't seem to break past even just last week's highs. And I look at this on your daily, that's about 43.5, 44 on the daily chart. Pinduoduo just feels a little bit safer if it were to come back into that level. That same 43.5, there you go. Right in the morning when it gave us that nice flush off 46, when we showed at the 45 level, you had one pop at 10 o'clock right into 43.5. So that's the level that I'd look to try and grab an initial short in Pinduoduo. If it breaks out from there, you're retesting the 46 high. That needs to be 2 trades, not holding it all the way. That wouldn't make any sense to me, but I want to be trading Pinduoduo. Mullen, just a heads up, guys. Mullen had a $3 break. If you were trading in the afternoon, you saw what happened. The rug got pulled a little bit when it broke 360. Came in, and I was, and I probably should have been sitting in this one because it was off of this 340 high. You can see the consolidation, but I did just wait for it to break 3. I got a 99 short, $3 breaks, short 99, just scalping it out because that 280 level does loom. So I feel like that's a trade to that 280 and not really looking to hold it too much further than that. Yesterday we liked the long on Mullen several times, but once it couldn't hold up that morning support that we're buying in front of, it turned into a short. It's the first time it's been red in a bit, so I feel like there's going to be some profit takers in there. But I'm looking to cover this by 280, although I'm pretty much out of most of it here as we got a bunch of shares out at 290. The last will be in front of that 280 level. But Pinduoduo was the one I would rather short over Baba.
Yeah, a number of Chinese stocks moving on that Baba move as well. JD.com, another one. Up here in the pre-market, MULN, hard to avoid, to say the least, after that volume we saw yesterday. Just having a look at Nike. Let's go over to NKE. Good report for them. Their direct-to-consumer business doing better than expected in the quarter. They also said all things China, China a huge market for Nike, better than expected as well.
Yeah, I think one of the other things to consider about Nike is they didn't, in this circumstance, direct guidance is going to be tricky for anybody with supply chain concerns, and I don't know that they gave the everything is perfectly fine indication for a lot of the supply chain concerns going on in China, but I think certainly some of those concerns were alleviated. So it wasn't exactly what I was looking for the bellwether for possible slowdowns in China. But and it comes back to the same thing, and I'm talking about that 50 period and your overhead resistance. Just look at Nike here, real clean, 139 previous support, 50 period right here, 139, 140. If there's a more obvious level, I'm not seeing it. You ran right there in the aftermarket. Liquidity vacuum stalled out there. In the pre-market, we topped out at that exact same price. So unless you're buying it really deep, I think at that level, I'm trying to sell in front of it. And if it can break out through 140, fantastic. But you look at what's going on in the daily at that price and sort of buying at the top, you're into that resistance level. I just feel like if it pulls back off of that resistance, you should be able to get a hopefully fantastic price, because 130 is where you closed. Filling in half of that gap, risk to reward, and that's provided it does that pop and fade style trade where if you get like 38.5 or something to the short side, that's pretty tight risk to reward. If you're dipping down, you can look at you can look at yesterday afternoon or yesterday morning's 134 top as potential start to your support level. But on that daily chart, that is pretty wide overhead resistance at 139.
Yeah, so I wrote down here on, what's up, Dominic? Yeah, I'm a fanboy of the greens and the cash is what I should say, not the greens, not these greens. There we go. Yeah, Nike's on here right now. I'm a fanboy of Nike as well. The white, I don't know, I told her to tweet it out. She got some nice Air Force Ones, straight white with a nice little green diamond, bedazzled type of stuff. They're pretty cool. But it's green, so I don't know, it's kind of a unique situation. I put here that I'd really, really like to test this lower low here. Not lower low, but see if we can get a low bid here of 134 on Nike. I really think it's a great quarter. Their supply chain issues, they sort of said they'll take a pass on that because it's not too much of a problem for them. So we're going to wait to see what Nike does. They didn't really give a forward guide, obviously, because there are too many uncertainties there, but they still had the positive outlook moving forward. So that's good for me. 134, I think, is a nice little buy here for NKE. I've got on the Nikes as well. Oh, what's up to Mike Crehan? I did just see you on there. There he is. What's up, Mike? Here we go. He's got them on for you here today, the Dunks. There you go. So this is what I'm talking about. We've got the Nikes going on right now. Still almost brand new there, Mike. I don't wear them too often, but we'll celebrate today on Nike earnings day. So, here we go. So I'm going to buy Nike 134, 135, pay for a couple new pairs of shoes on this play right now. So we're going to do that. We're going to buy it. And I said, you know what? Let's start the buying around 135-ish. So I already have the bid in at 135.20. Obviously here on a 1 minute chart, you're down here to 135. That's sort of that little dip spot. We went up and rocked and rolled throughout yesterday, so there isn't too much support down here, but if you did come back into 131, I think that's fantastic. But anyways, we're going to start it at 135, 5 or so. If we lose the 134 area, then we'll be gone out of there. And it's just that support that we talked about on the 20 minute. The daily, nice little bottom base right in here. Now you're into this stuff here. I don't know if we rip, but you're at the 50 period, so I think that it's worth it on any dip down. I don't know if there was Nike on here. I'm pretty sure it's a New York name. It should be. There it is. It's a very, very low one. Excuse me. Here at the bottom, 77,000 shares. So we'll wait to see what happens with Nike coming out today. But I want to be a buyer. My bid's already in for a decent amount of shares at 135.
Hey guys, welcome everyone who just joined us. We need less than 300 likes to get to 1K. So I remind you, please guys, smash the like button and let's continue with Brandon.
All right, we mentioned a few oil stocks moving around here with crude again in the pre-market. Oil kind of choppy. We're back to just 0.4, back to the upside, but was up about 1% at one point. So trying to hold 110 here, guys, for crude.
Yeah, that's sort of the key price that I'll be watching. And if you don't have oil futures contract up, then I feel like you should, if you intend on trading any of these names. Like I'll have my CL up on the other chart there. Just make sure you're over on the K contract. That 110 just bounced now, so that's all sort of systems go. I'm ready in front of the bid on Oxy. It's been two types of trades for this stock. It's just been either breakout like yesterday, or there's been some really good opportunities at the open to buy the dips. You got a breakout one day. But on the up days, there have been a few times where it's like a consolidation right at the open. You're testing the pre-market low, and then you're starting to rip. That's how that move started. Just going back into last week. And today I had that same feeling with oil sort of back and forth. I'm looking to see if we can catch a bit of a bid here. And that top of 62.5 yesterday, just keep in mind on the daily chart, there's a bit of room above that to 64. So if we can start to get going to that 114 level in oil, I would expect under those circumstances, Oxy should be pressing that high. But if those two things come together at the same time, that would be a cover. Like if you're not breaking 114 and Oxy gets to that 64, then I think it's a bit of a cover. And on the other side of the trade would be Chevron, because if we get to if we get to 114, load. If we get to 114 on oil prices and Chevron is anywhere near, thank you for finally loading, anywhere near 165 or 170, that's a fade for me. 170 preferably. Those even dollars have been fantastic shorting opportunities when oil hits a high.
All right, I'm going to be called an Oxy fanboy, I guess, if I talk about it again. Shout out to Dominic and everybody on the chat there. Just playing around. 160, 60 to 160, 150, 60, 150. We talked about Oxy earlier on the show. I mean, look, if oil continues to make this move to the upside here, taking out 111, I feel like this takes 60, 150, and then who knows where oil goes from here at that point. So, you just have to take out 111. That could be coming. You obviously have oil inventories tomorrow on Wednesday, so that should be exciting. But that 60, 150 to me is a buy. I'm not going to play I'm not playing oil. I just want to see if it takes a 61.50. Then I think we buy it, and then we hold it for yesterday's high 62. For sure, you get 60. Like if you take a 61.50, for sure you get a 62. So I feel like that 50 cents, you could probably pocket 50% of your trade right there for the 50 cents, and then you can see how greedy you want to get by taking out that high of 62 flat. Look, Oxy's been an absolute monster. I mean, we've talked about this. Berkshire's in this name. It's just moving like ridiculous. But again, I'm not too concerned about the oil futures. I'm more looking at the NASDAQ and been looking at some of those names. So again, I'll probably miss this trade, but for those of you that are here, I really think if you're watching oil, it takes 111 and Oxy's screaming, and not even screaming, even just ticking up here, takes that 61.50, then you have a long. You don't even care if it's not moving that much. Like if it's not moving that much and you take the long, I mean, then you could just get out. Like if it comes back in 50 cents, I told you the target on this trade is an easy, in my opinion, an easy 50 cents. So if you do take 61.50 long, you can get back out at 61. And I mean, this is part of the logic that goes through. This is why I've been here 21 years, 13 years without a negative month. I mean, you got to have your ins and your outs. And if you don't properly plan, then it's going to be almost impossible on a daily basis. So, that's what I'm continuing to do. And sometimes, sure, it's a bit too conservative. But I think with this Oxy trade, I really think you're going to get a nice little runner here. 61.50 up to 62, and then you hold the rest for a big move. But there's Carnival. Did it just come out there?
I mean, the volume's through the roof. I didn't initially see anything myself.
No, I mean, Carnival just ticks right down here. We'll wait because Brendan's probably, we'll just look at the chart here quickly. Down to this is the 1 minute chart. So we are testing, again, lows from yesterday of 18.6. May not be out yet, but even if it is, I don't think it doesn't look like it's anything dramatic. But I think it was 9:15, right? It's supposed to come out, so that makes sense here. You do get a little bit of a volume spike, but not that much. Okay. So maybe we're not out yet on Carnival, but if we are, watch out for that 1870 bottom here. Looks like they're testing it right now.
So a net loss of 1.9 billion. So I'll read through that, guys, but the report just out there. Wanted to mention SoFi as well, just ticked up on a headline. No-fee cryptocurrency purchases for direct deposit members. That was out at 9 o'clock, so a little bump up for SoFi, 1.25%. Let's talk about Upstart. There was a number of downgrades we saw on the downgrade board. This one of them, Upstart, pretty weak here, guys, on this Wedbush move.
Yeah, Upstart. Yeah, so I've already added oopsies. I added this one to the sticky note. Oh man, 115 now. Down 9% is not enough. It's going down a lot lower than this. But honestly, I was hoping that we could get a little bit of a bump up here. It's going to look better, I guess, on the 20-minute chart. Like, I was just hoping to get some of these pre-market levels. Like, honestly, I completely missed this one. I probably would be short already, to be honest with you, if I had seen this. I mean, I think this was such an easy break right here at 118. You're $4 in the money. It's hindsight, right? I mean, it's easy to look at it now. But that bottom right there was held. We made, for some reason, someone fat-fingered a trade here at 8 o'clock and brought this up to 124. So that's nothing to do with anything. But you know, then for some reason, it started to trade up here at 120. And I don't know like what was going on with that. To me, these are screaming shorts, and quite frankly, embarrassed not to have hit this. This was right here, man, at 8:30. It just wasn't on my radar at that time. And I added it to the sticky note, but didn't do enough work on this. I love this short call by Wedbush. I mean, I think that they continue to make moves here to the downside. Obviously, way overvalued. Wedbush coming out today and just claiming that there are no point to delinquency trends combined with macro and geopolitical risks could just, you know, lose their appetite for business. But, you know, again, I don't fully understand a lot of these fintech businesses and what they're doing. So I don't know where these profits are going to come from at all anymore, but I'm definitely not an Upstart fanboy and would love to hit this named short side. By the way, I did say for everybody trading Palantir, shout out to you, Henry Z, I do like a 1240 break downside if that does happen on Palantir. So, but anyways, Upstart, look, just continue to short any sort of pop in this name, and I just hope that I'm able to catch one of them.
Yeah, I canceled consecutive orders on the stock, and look, the volume wasn't really there in the pre-market, unfortunately. I look at the 118 where it turned around as probably the first chance to try to find a level where you know you're going to be wrong, because you always have that risk of shorting at the absolute bottom, and once a break has already happened. So the 118 is going to be the first. I do like these 122s, 123s. There was some dark pool action that traded to 24, but realistically that didn't really happen. So I still think that 20 to 22 is the ideal place to be in the short. You're just not going to get it at this point. Either it pops to 118, or I'm probably going to be sitting this one out. I'm not looking for any dip buys in the name. And Mullen, I reloaded it right around 301 there. I'll give it to 5s, but that breakdown trade didn't go to 280. Got to 290, got some out there, but if it holds that 280 level, Mullins had support there before. I should show you the chart, guys. Mullins had support there before. And last thing you want, like you said, if you're short at the top, always got to have an out. I still feel that 335 area from yesterday in the afternoon is a much better level. It was a great level all afternoon. It was where it settled down after it had that rug pull. So that's a much better place to sort of dig into any kind of a short side trade. This is a simple break of that 3 even area. I want to retest if it gets back up to this 325 to 335.
Yeah, so no surprise, huge miss for Carnival. It was 166 per share versus 126 loss to the downside. 162 billion was the first quarter revenue. They were expecting 2.26 billion. They pointing to Omicron and lingering effects for COVID. So not good right across the board for CCL, it would appear. Tesla holding up nicely here in the pre-market. Guys, as we said late in the day yesterday, they came out and said the first, yesterday I said car, it's actually 30. So they're going to deliver the first 30 cars from their Berlin Gigafactory, which is also going to be ramped up monstrously over the next few months.
I mean, I keep saying the same thing over and over again with Tesla. They're operating at huge levels. They're kicking out the cars. We showed you that video not the other day, but a couple months ago, or maybe not even, maybe a month ago, about all those cars they're pumping out of their Chinese, their factory there in Shanghai. And I mean, it just keeps on rocking. And Tesla's just an amazing company. And Elon Musk continues to perform, as does the stock. So, I mean, now this is just a 1-minute chart based on what happened yesterday. A big rip off the open up to this 950, basically. I mean, 944 before coming all the way back down. I feel like there's an opportunity to do that move again. You have this high here of 932, obviously hitting in the pre-market as well, and then coming in right there. So forget about your Mullins of the world. Those are stocks that you trade as day trades. I really feel like as investments and things like that, you're not going to go wrong with Tesla. It's just a matter of what you really think about the market. If the market holds up, then so will Tesla. I think Tesla has, you know, at least a move back to its all-time highs coming up, if not soon, definitely by the end of the year, back to this 1,200. As long as they can stay away from regulatory issues and Elon Musk doesn't start tweeting some crazy stuff again, then he'd be fine. He's already sold, so we've already gotten through a lot of that pressure there of him selling. Unfortunately, I can't do much with this chart because we have this wick here, but that looks stupid. He's done selling all of his shares up here, 1,200, 1,100. It rocketed down to 750, man. Like, what a great buy that was. I'm already invested into Tesla, and I don't need to buy any more right now, and maybe I should have and probably will next time. But I just think it continues to work on the upside every single day. But in case it doesn't, that's why I zoomed this back out. These bottoms have been pretty solid at 900, man, 905. So if the market dips down, which I'm not sure, you're up to 935 already on Tesla right here today. I think you could take that pre-market high out and rip a lot higher. So Tesla, if the market pops a nice little long here through 935, they continue to perform.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say negatively about the company. The 950 level, you can see on the daily chart, that's going to stand out. So we talk about this for the week. I think that's your overhead resistance. I thought we'd get there yesterday. It got to 43, I think, and then turned around. So I'm still eyeballing that one. The dips, you'd like to see 900, but I don't know if we will. That's also your 50-period moving average. But for Tesla, I'm looking 950. On the CCL there, after that report, I want to fade. It was in a $1 gap between 1850 and 1950. I want to be fading that 1950 high on CCL this morning. Brendo?
All right, let's talk about Dragonfly. We'll revisit DPRO, very active here. If you go to the daily chart, this 3 and then 280 to 275, kind of the bottom end of the range that I've marked off there. We'll use that as support. And then above that, there's not much until 420 up here if you go back far enough on the daily chart. So the one issue that seems to be arising right now anyways, is the bottom of the screen. Volume kind of not great at the moment, trying to hold $3, but we'll see if we get a move higher initially, but watch 280 for support, guys.
I love this by Comp SRX1. Sean, great trader, shocking investor. Shock the world. I don't know what that means. Yeah, look, I love to invest some cash throwing it around. The last thing, I did step in, I told you guys about this, I stepped into ARC KQ, but that was at 60. Oh, okay, I was going to say that was at $64. Today it's up to 67. Shocking the world with this one as well. But one name that we're going to look at here as the market is really starting to rip up, I do love Alibaba to the long side again today. It's just a matter of where can we get this price. It is gone right now. The number one name on our sticky note, talking about breaking out 112, that's done. Talking about buying some 111s, that's not happening. So Alibaba right now just ripping up to the upside here, just like hold my beer on that one. I didn't look at CCL yet, but again, just up and down. For me, it's going to be a nothing trade until it actually moves. It's doing nothing. It did hit that bottom of 1870. Maybe that's something to look at, but with not enough time to look at the report right now, pretty stupid of them to come out at 915, to be honest with you. That's, I don't know why they're doing that. And then quickly, I've talked a little bit about Palantir. I haven't traded Palantir. Actually, yesterday I had a really good short on Palantir. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, so these were the shorts yesterday on Palantir. This is actually, considering, man, this is actually a really great trade for me. A lot of money made on this one, shorting this 1280 back in, brought it all the way down into the 50s here. Those were good trades. And there's that bounce at 48.50. So that's kind of the levels I'm looking at today. If the futures do fail for us, then you can get a break down through this 1240. That's all that I was mentioning. And then I do really love, even though Palantir, again, back down, there's that 1240 break. But I feel like there's going to be some kind of support at 12. So we'll see if that comes through. It tends to be there for Palantir. So if this name does get going to the downside here, 1244, 1240, look for that as a breaking spot. But again, not a name that's early on the radar, but a name that we'll be watching.
I'm going to quickly throw PALI up here. I know Brendan brought the story. I think it was phase 3 for one of their drugs. But the daily chart bears watching just quickly here. You see all of these nice little spikes into $1.60, $1.70 recently, and then fading almost instantly after that. So it's pretty clear to see where that resistance is. And it goes to 160, just put in a lower high right now. So if we get that pop and fade, I'm looking at this 145-ish area on the open, just see if chance if we can get this one just get this one coming up into that resistance. If it breaks out from there, obviously it's got overhead resistance above 160 here at 170. Through that, it's pretty clean on the daily chart if it can get going. The volume, just like Brennan showed you on Dragonfly, the volume really starting to slow down here. With only 2 minutes, with less than 2 minutes to go, I should say, into the open, you're kind of going in the other direction when it comes to volume in PALI. A lot of times you'll see volume start to come back in. Not happening just yet. Oxy's starting to come back down here. So looking for that dip. I'm in front of 60s right now, like that 59 level where the breakout was for us yesterday. I want to be long in front of that level here in Oxy. Sliding down, not a ton of volume, but just a little bit of a tick. So might get this one off the open.
Just looking at some of my lists here to see what's going on. Let's just check out. I was looking at NEO coming through. We traded NEO like a madman short yesterday. Again, a very, very positive outlook for us yesterday on the stock. But we have to watch out for 21s taking out the top right now. Miss V in her all black coming through for us very, very soon to ring the bell. So get ready. It'll be Miss V on the bell here early to help us kick this day off. It's going to be a Taco Tuesday. What's up, Taco Eater? And I just said to all our friends there on the chat, it's great to have all the great viewers in the chat. I love all of you guys. So thank you for making the chat what it is. Didi also with a big, oops, I always click on it and then it goes away. Didi with a nice little buy here today as well. Wow, up to 450. Didn't even realize that. BAC Ford as well. Another name up to 1650 here, making a nice move. That's not up 5%, is it? No, up 1%. That was Didi. Neil with only 15 seconds left.
Sir.
Black is the new black. Yes, that is right, Frank.
Yeah,
Frank, right there as we're getting ready to rock and roll right now. Miss V, let's go over to Miss V. What are you doing on me?
Yeah, let's go. 5,
3, 2, 1. See, I got to give the people what they want. Come on, Fahad, man. We got to go over to Valeria right there. Shout out to my man, Valeria, and shout out to you, Taco Eater, one more time. Okay, let's watch out Nike here. I'm not into anything yet. These stocks are just starting to open up, so good luck to everybody today.
Yeah, I just got into Oxy, the first little dip in front of 60 even. That was the first thing we wanted to watch. Mullen, by the way, that's right back below that $3 range. I said we'd take the stop out at 05, thinking we'd get a better chance at it. It's rolling over once again, straight to the downside of Mullen. I can tell you this much. Nike, not going to get Nike as it starts going back in 136. I'm still offering in front of 139. PDD came in for us as the market trying to get to the upside here. Pinduoduo, if it'll load in a quick second, wanted to short that initial pop. Remember, that 43.5 to 44 area, that's what we wanted to be shorting in front of on Pinduoduo. So we got the spike up and then wanted to fade it. This is a much different from Alibaba. Like I said, if I'm shorting one, it's got to be Pinduoduo and not Alibaba.
We're going to try maybe an upstart long, believe it or not, if it goes through this 115.50. It was a nice little bounce off that bottom there. The market is screaming right now to the upside, so we got to go over and find something that we want to get long right now. We've talked about that Alibaba over and over again. We talked about NEO as I double-check my own sticky note right now. Yeah, there's not much here. I don't have anything really for NEO, but it is starting to rip upside. We did have 21.50 was the high, maybe a take of 21, and we go here on NIO. I don't even think it's open yet. These stocks aren't even open yet right now. So there it is. We're into one name here, Upstart. We did take that 1550. And again, this name is wild. This one, again, if it comes back down too much further, then we're going to get out. That was that take right there. We did like remember I liked the short in this name, but there it does. It takes that out. It only goes into the money like 50 cents. So we're going to have to wait for Upstart, trying to make some moves right now, but at least it's open. Alibaba 115 right now.
Oh, yeah. What a huge move in Baba. I just got into Nike. Remember we talked about that 139, 140. This is it on the 15-minute chart, just a bit easier to see. I grabbed 138.5, quickly putting a bit of a reversal on. Going to be able to quickly take just almost a buck on that first little fade. Now I want to see if it can take out these lows. If we can get through like that 136, that 134 becomes into play. That's sort of, I don't want to say it's the obvious level, but you sort of look at the chart, previous high, resistance turns into support, that's what it might be. On the other time frame, this is Oxy right into that 59. So we took the first stab at 60, and now we have the long in front of 59. That's a hard stop for me. We get below that, and we're just going to be out of Occidental. Pinduoduo, I'm not sure. I got to double check what Alibaba is doing, but PDD starting to come back in. I'll go back to the 1 minute, right down to that 42. Remember, this was resistance yesterday at 42s in the initial short that we had. So sort of looking for the same thing to happen here. I should be trying to cross spread a little bit and then getting some out in front of that 42 level. So again, the pop and drop on Pinduoduo. The circumstance is different because it's certainly a stronger move with Baba there, but already a couple of nice outs there on Pinduoduo and Nike.
Oh shit, it's already starting. Your boy is here, not tomorrow, but we're here today. $117.50, $2 in the money for Upstart right now as that's starting to go up here. And we did take a piece out. Remember, we were talking about possibly shorting that 118 break right there, but look at Upstart, man. And again, if it only takes one trade today, there it is for you. Upstart with the big time movement up $2 right there. One in, a couple outs. First out, 50 cents only at 116. The next out, $1.50. That's probably a decent out, man. I mean, I don't know how far Upstart goes from here. I was thinking about a short, remember? So I'm thinking right now, if we break back down below anywhere around here, we'll probably get out. I was going to hold for a 114, but there it is, Upstart with the win early on that name. So far, so good. Someone said, what does Sean mean when he says the stocks aren't open yet? It just means when the New York didn't print. Like when stocks don't have their first official opening print, and it's always going to be NYSE pretty much, unless the NASDAQ is having an issue or they've just halted it for a little bit on the open. But here comes NEO right back in. So they didn't open for a bit. The first print wasn't until 9:32 officially from the NYSE. So let's wait. The nice little move upside right now for NIO. And if it takes out $21, then I think we'll probably test the long here, as we do have a nice base here at 2060 or so. Let's call it 2070. So NEO probably a tester up long side here, breaking through $21. Maybe BABA's better, but here goes NEO right now.
Yeah, and very quickly, just want to go back over to this Pally. Got in at that 141 right here. I have the lower high as my stop, so we get the bit of a curl, try to grab that short trade, and if it stops out for 5 to 6 cents, that's what I'm looking for in a $1.50 stock. But Oxy, whoops, why is that not flipping? Occidental bottoms out right at that 59 area. That's where we wanted to reload it. It's right back up to 60. As it gets there, I take a leg out, cancel that offer because I already got out. Want to get some more out at about 60.5, that curl, and then try more at 61. Have to be watching oil futures during this move, of course, but Oxy puts in that V-shaped bottom that you so often see as it looks like it's going to be screaming. Nike really starting to come in now.
Really? Good. Let's go.
Starting to come in. It's at that pre-market low, 136.50. It's trying to break this. If it gets through that 136.50, I think we're all systems go to get the next leg down to 134.5. I just got the next fill at 60.5 on Oxy, so the dip buy working out there. Brendo.
Crypto-related stocks popping up here, guys. Just saw this BKKT, former huge mover, backed holdings involved in crypto mining through 6 there. Monster volume coming in.
Doing this again and again and again on the show. Let's go, man. Fire off those damn cannons with a nice little move here in the New York name NEO all the way up to 21.22, man. We take that 21 buy. We like it so much. We take it twice down there 20.90. And if you believe in your names, guys, I mean, sometimes, and this is what I'm trying to do a little bit better, is like get into names and then buy them again. Like if it doesn't break your sort of rules, and we're giving it down here to 2070. So, and again, you know, we're long here at 21. So 2070 is 30 cents. So now we're up to that 25 cents. And it's really fast. I mean, normally we'd like at least a 1-to-1. But on NEO, with the amount of shares that we have here early on, we're just going to scalp the crap out of this one and just keep on cashing out right now. Mamma mia. Maybe I cancel my trip to Miami the way this is going. A nice little move upside here. And Brad says this all the time. When you go on vacation, not only do you, it's great. You get to spend money there. It's great. But man, you get to miss trading, and I don't want to miss this for anything. Bang already, daily goal met right now. So we're going to go, yeah, buddy, on NEO, daily goal number 1 met. So let's go to the upside, 1 for 1. Upstart, well, it's going to be 2 for 2, but Upstart did come back. Look at that 118 that we talked about. Good thing we got some out. Upstart, a positive name for your boy.
Yeah, and that D Pro, by the way, I talked about wanting to the long side in front of support. Definitely pie in my face for not getting this, but it just runs right to 380. So clean, strong move. And sometimes the catalyst can matter here. I feel like that's a little bit in play, given the nature of the catalyst. But you got to be able to move on to the next. And look at it. It's at $4 level. That's where the fade is going to be for me. I talked about that in the pre-market. It gets there. That's what direction I got to go. I have to be shorting it in front of that level. Nike makes another move down. So we're now through the pre-market lows. Okay, like I talked about the overhead resistance over and over again on some of these names, and Nike had that same setup. So to me, it's just a short in front of that 139. Now it's breaking to the low. We're about $2 in the money, but I'm looking for 4 on the end of this trade. So looking for $4 on the end of that trade. Oxy, we're going to try to go back to that well. We just got some out at 60.50. It bounces off 59. It still hasn't gotten through that chop from the morning, from the pre-market. If we can get through that, I think it's fantastic. But I'm going to relieve a little bit more of this pressure between 60 and 65. Want to make sure you're banking profit at this particular time. Like if you have something that you don't feel like you've taken profit out on and it's still resisting a level, got to go back to it. This D Pro doesn't seem to want to get to that $4. So close. And Pinduoduo is still well within the money, but not looking for a reload there. That we had to be patient on. It really flushed at about 10 or 9:50, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, great trade on Nike. Yeah, we'll see about holding that one. I'm trying to still get longer. I'm trying to get long, period, on, oh man, Upstart came right back.
You're in is my out.
Down to 130. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get in down here at 135 and change. So, oh, come on, Nike. I went to Upstart, then, okay, now it's ripping. So, well, not ripping, but, and again, this is why I don't really like, good take on the short. This is the problem with earnings. It's like you got to really wait until someone decides what it wants to do. And right now, we just missed that, man. I was waiting at 135.20, so I guess we missed it by 50 cents. But hey, that is what that is. I'm just resting on my laurels here with NEO. Wow, that was a monster. I think you said you were in Oxy, right? Oh yeah,
I still got it.
Still got, yeah, okay, it went down. I was just wondering what Oxy was doing here. As oil did, we talked about going long if it took 111, didn't happen, but a nice little downward move to 108, and look at what Oxy did. Oxy bounced off that 59, so yeah, if you're watching oil, Oxy definitely a name to look at. Oxy, NEO. The other name we had Baba, but that's gone. I can already see that one. What about Palantir? Because we're already on NEO, right? So, ooh, wow, what's up, Henry? You don't like when I talk about the short, but let's fire off the hot dogs for the longs. You know your boy's long Palantir. So no stress on that. But we are not long today. And wow, what a good long that would have been. Taking out that 1270. Instead of NEO, I was really close, man. It looks like they would have been one and the same. I was really close to pushing the long in Palantir here. Probably should have done that. But just so you know, Henry et al., 13 high. A nice little high there for Palantir. So if we do get to that level, you may see an SS on your screen for me. So a short sale coming through. But for right now, Palantir continues to work. Let's go back to Brendo.
Just seeing some of the cybersecurity names starting to pop up. This one ran late in the day yesterday. AVCT, huge volume up to 120 now. Some of the cybersecurity names on watch.
Yeah, cybersecurity was hot with Mr. Joe Biden there yesterday, or a couple days ago, talking about how some companies were under
attack?
Not under attack, but also under supervised or whatever, under monitored by, some of their cyber attacks. And what is the word I'm looking for here? Anyways, I don't know.
I kind of know. I know.
Basically, they're vulnerable.
I know what you mean.
Cyber attacks. They need more security. So those names are always going to be on watch. CrowdStrike is the best name there for me.
So we'll get it to reload on Pinduoduo, but I never want to ignore this. It's been a great short the few times, like the 3 times we've taken it in the last, I think, half week or week at least. But that level, that 43.50, a bit different here. You're holding pre-market lows and trying to form a bit of an uptrend wedge. So when I get the reload in front of 43.50, I'm definitely taking some out in front of VWAP. And if I want to let it ride, I can't let this bounce off 42 again. It's not nearly as bearish as it was before, and you're in the middle of the range. Like, you don't have the price from the top. You get the price from the top, and that's like a hold because you've grabbed such a great level. This is playing off a lower high, so I don't want to be nearly as aggressive with my hold. Want to make sure we're grabbing that profit. Still going to be managing that Nike, but at this point, you can sort of see what happened here. It's different from Pinduoduo in that this is the top end of the range. So you want to hold out to your best targets, and if it happens, it happens. Just let this one ride. Oxy's back to 60.50, but the one I'm really kicking myself over for is it's going to be that DPRO, because it looks like it won't go to that $4 just yet. But Mullen, I never got back into Mullen. It couldn't get to that 335 to re-engage the short, and now you're testing the low of the day. Just if you're in this trade, 280 was that big support from yesterday on MULN, but the 3 things I'm in already working in the money. Going to try to hold on to these as we get next levels of profit. There was something that we talked about because they had their earnings, never really came in just yet, but watching, I'm going to cancel my order on CCL here. It tried to break towards that 1950, put in a lower high. I did not get that fade because I was trying to short it a little bit closer to 1950. Miss V.
Hey guys, my biggest fan, Isa Mohammed, sent me multiple super chats. Thank you so much, Isa. I wish you a fantastic day. And guys, while I'm here, please don't forget to like this video. We already have 1,300 likes, which is great, but we can do better. Let's get that 2,000 likes as soon as possible. Back to you guys.
Oh, man. We did dump our NEO as it broke back down below 21, and then it took out the 50 period. So our last little bit of NEO did come out there, and it's unfortunate because it is taking back upside. I honestly thought the NASDAQ was going to fall down. We've seen this happen before, a nice move up, and then just literally comes right back down to test some of those pre-market areas. So I'm thinking about a short here in NIO, honestly, and I called up Alibaba there. It's almost the same thing. Like Baba's holding out nicely right now. It made a high of 117, and obviously when we were doing that trade with NEO, that's when Baba was screaming. So we can't be on all the names, but again, this is one here where I'm just a little bit, thinking a short now maybe in Alibaba. This level is 113. I wrote down here, it's up 9%. We'll want to go long here, but back down to 113. Support maybe 111. So, there's nothing wrong with shorting like a 116, even though you think that the long is down there near the bottom of 111. So that would still be a nice $5 move to the downside if that does come through. It's just honestly a name that's now up, when I wrote this, up 9, now up 11. I don't think this is a name that we really want to be shorting. As I look at NEO, oops, that's Facebook, as we get long Facebook right now, new position alert. NEO back up to its day's high. Unbelievable that we sold this 21 break and then we sold some there. But honestly, it was like 20%, not even 20%, maybe 15% left. So, little bit of a misstep there, but there goes Facebook, another victory right now.
Yeah, I'm going to ring the register again on Occidental, but just want to quickly show you the oil futures chart. So we're battling this 110 level. This is the reason why I keep taking profit out in this wedge here. I used to want to hold on to some of the position, but if we break and hold below 110 in this little bit of a downward trend, you want to make sure you're getting out. The buy the dip has happened and it's worked, but no need to be greedy when you see this trend coming back in here. Oxy's been strong, but nothing's strong enough to hold if we go down all day long. Brendo?
My chart's not cooperating, guys, but I mentioned a bit of a downtick in banks. No longer straight to the upside so far for all of them right now, but I am having a data issue. So have a look at some of the banks. They're leading the market.
No, Brendan, do not have data issues. Okay, so 211.90 or so on a break here for Facebook, and we'll get out of that name. We're going to take a shot. We just took a little bit of a profit there, I think 30 or so cents on the, 92s. We got out, 32 cents on the first piece of Facebook. When we got the trade, we were talking about Baba, and as we got it, it ripped to 213.12 actually. Now it's coming back in. We're not going to hold this past 212. So there it is, a nice little bump up. Oh, where am I? Yeah, let's go. A nice little move upside for Facebook. I don't know if there was just news there or not, but that's a nice move up with the market going the other way. So let's take advantage of somebody obviously putting out some sort of a market buy there. As this market is coming back in, let's just get out. There we go. We'll take another piece out, man. I have no idea what's going on, but do I really care? No, I do not, because that's another hot dog right there. As Facebook, with the market coming back in, we just took out all of our Facebook. We only have 20% left, and you know what? Screw this, man. I'm getting out of Facebook right now as we go. If we could just take it now. Look at this. Good out for us on Facebook. Wow, out by the skin of our teeth, a nice profitable name there. Facebook just continues to make a move to the downside. No idea what just happened right there, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a spike and then immediate sort of fade there on a volume. I saw on the NASDAQ anyways, it could have been the same thing. ES. D Pro is consolidating after a wick off top. I kind of didn't notice this, but that 375 break, that's a wick high to 80s, and now you're consolidating lower. Look, I like the long initially, but when I see a setup like that, I want to short the consolidation. So I just, there we go, just got some 61s. In this, like the top end of this range is about 65 or so, maybe even 70s, but just got into the short position. I'll play this down to this first support, 350, down into VWAP, but that's a little bit of a wick top. So that's a setup that I'm going to take almost every single time we do see it. Coming back over to one name, I'm not going to get CCL, it doesn't look like, off those highs, unfortunately. But Tesla does not get to 950. So I like 50s. Got to 43 yesterday, 37 today before rolling over a little bit. It looks like it wants to try testing lower. Now is in the midst of the market running initially and holding some of those highs, like the NASDAQ, well, the ES anyways. The NASDAQ pulling back, maintaining green. Tesla very close to turning red here. So relative weakness overall here in Tesla. That DPRO. Should get my orders out there. Just talked about getting some out in front of the 50s and then want to get some out in front of VWAP as well. So going to get on that bid as DPRO continues to be super volatile. Nike retested those highs. It didn't quite break the 139. I probably should have got back into this one here. If it retests 139 again, I can get 38.5. I'll reload Nike. I didn't take anything out when it broke that pre-market low. And at this point, if it comes down there again, I might have to accept that I should be taking that fill. But looking for a reload. 139 is the stop out. You can find that on the daily.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, good talk there. Yeah, that Nike up to 139. Damn it. Darn. We just missed that bid by 50 cents, but that's always going to happen. 138.25 right now. Upstart still moving around. Look, Facebook. I mean, I don't know what this market wants to do today. We're bouncing around this 50 period again, and this is exactly the move that we called. I said the Nasdaq goes up, then the Nasdaq falls down, and that's what we called. It had that little bit of a bump there. We should have shorted NEO when it was near the top, and now the market's trying to bounce off. Maybe Facebook doesn't want that level. So let's go long here. If this is going to be a quick break, man, if it breaks back down below, we're going to get out right now. So let's go. Let's take a little bit of profit if we can get some 50s out on Facebook. This is meant to be a real quick trade off of this 212 bottom. So let's see. We're long at 29. If we can get another 30 cents
dirty.
as a scalp, then we'll do that right now. NEO bouncing around and Facebook's bouncing around as well. What is so dirty?
Though, look, D-Pro, that was so nasty. So it did one of those like wick off tops there. I did cover half on that move thinking I could get back in at 40s, but I still had all my bids down here. So I end up getting out of everything and into a long because this happened so quick that I was still short half, and I got out on those bids down at 40s. That was just a clean break, running the stops and then flushing. We saw that happen in a couple of names yesterday, and when it does, usually it's going to be a short setup. I was already looking to the short side of the trade, but overall it's going to be exactly flat for me, but it should have been hold on to some of that short, and I couldn't cancel this bid quite fast enough at 42s, but now I'm really wanting to fade any kind of a pop that happens in this name. Did I not get the reload in Nike? Yeah, it got the reload in Nike there. Finally gave you that one fill in front of 39 again. So going to take some out probably closer to VWAP 137, 137 half. This one trying to get back into the downside. But remember, it was a pretty good earnings report. If it breaks that high, you got to get out. Brendo?
2 days in a row, guys. Steel names showing some strength. CLF just popping up at session highs there on a decent volume spike. X as well, making that same move back to positive for both.
All right, you know what, man? I mean, if we're bang right there again, man. What are we even doing today? Another big day for us. There goes Facebook. Cancel the offer. No need to have that out there. Another big win for us, man. I mean, it's just going to 213 now, but reload. Let's go, man. Facebook, another one right there. Another 80-cent win for us there. Or sorry, 50-cent win there on Facebook. If we would have held it, it would have been an 80-cent winner there. Microsoft is a name that we want to look at again on this. 299. What do we need to take out here? Maybe a 300 take on Softy here coming up. We're barcoding a little bit, but I'm just so nervous about these futures. Like, that's why I'm scalping. We talked about getting in, getting out, trying to be in and out like a thief in the night. And honestly, like, I think that's going to work. I mean, these futures are just bouncing around right now, so we got to try to figure out which way we want to go. Microsoft appears to be a lot weaker than the futures as we're starting to tank down below right now a little faster than anything else. Good out on Facebook, man, as we're all starting to make moves downside now. Maybe we short. Darn it, we should have shorted Microsoft. That's a missed opportunity.
We're gonna do this one, and I'm more of a Mortal Kombat. I know you're a Street Fighter guy, Sean. We talked about it over and over again, but we'll go with Flawless, and it's just that 139 level. I'm not saying it has to go down to 135 Nike. But, we're able to play off this 139 a couple of times. This is the level in the daily. If you're just joining us now, I know the report was good. Not commenting, negatively about the report for Nike, but look at that double top. You saw the level on the daily chart as well. It gives you that fill a couple of times. Going to get some out there for that buck, and then see if we can't hold on for a bigger flush there. Oxy is now putting the reversal on a bit stronger. So we were able to get some shares at 60 in front of this level, but 59 where it broke out. That's where we had the long yesterday. That's the level we love. I'm looking for us to at least get back to that 61.5, but if you're not watching what's going on in crude oil, this is the problem. You're actually testing these lows again. So as we test these lows and we make this curl, I can want this trade to be a home run as much as I want, but you see me just sort of take it out there, and we'll be happy with the win that we got in Occidental. It is not the same as yesterday's move. Oil down, and you can see it testing those lows, while Oxy's trying to break the pre-market highs. If I was shorting any other stock, I'd be looking for a curl there, so I got to get out of the long, take the win, and throw to Brendo.
A little tiny nano cap Chinese stock, guys. JX Lux Ventures, menswear maker, signing a $60 million U.S. contract for an order. The company currently has an $8.5 million market cap. So 60 million order on an $8.5 million market cap. Yeah, up huge. 70% here on decent volume for LLL.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
We're going to ring the register one more time and do a couple more backflips as we short NEO here. We wanted that short, and we looked over at our sticky note, and we actually just know I'm going to let this go a little bit here as we talk about it, but I wanted to trade this NEO, forget about the 1980. I didn't want to forget about that, so now it's at 2080. So we're going to look at that level here and try to short that, and the reason why, it's kind of the same logic is that we're at the 50 period right there. We've broken below some of these pre-market levels now, so we're going to try to go short. It's the same thing about this 1980 that's right there. That was that, I mean, it's not the pre-market, but it was yesterday's bottom. So we're going to try to do something similar right now. We do have the 50 period there, so we've gotten out already of about 30% now. Yeah, about 30% of this down here at 70, but we're short. Look where we're short, man. We're short 83s. So hopefully this name can fall back down. We are recognizing that there's a 2060 bid there, but these futures, man, I mean, that's the problem, Neil. I know you're looking at oil. You've had Oxy. You had a great short there in Nike, but I mean, until these futures do something, I think our hands are a little bit tied.
Yeah, there's 100%, no doubt about it. Like at this point, you get your levels, you manage your trades, but I'm not going to take something that isn't at a price that I really, really like from the open. Like if it wasn't part of the plan, getting in just because you see something moving, don't get in the middle. Like play your levels, make sure things have settled down a little bit here as well. Looking at Mullen here, trying to break back to the upside, and you know I like that 25 to 35 resistance. Brendan?
Not a huge development, but they just said Boeing, the plane that crashed yesterday, they haven't found the black box yet. But Boeing, very strong so far, guys. 2% here, 185 up to 190.
All right, we are about to get out. It looks like NEO, yeah, as these futures, and like I said, man, very, very hard to make a call here as the futures are the ones that are dancing here. So very tough right now. I'm just going to get out now of the NEO. We did take a hit there, so we will flush ourselves down the toilet like we talked about it. We were too bearish there on NEO because the futures are just ripping right now, and the only thing that I'm not upset about because we got out of Facebook, but look at these double longs down there on Facebook. Wow, what a great move to the upside, man, for that Facebook. Didn't have any idea that these futures were doing this. I think we could short Facebook now against this high and then just see that's 214. Let's short it. Let's see if these futures don't want to retrace back to the downside. We could have a decent one here for Facebook if it does hold these highs, but that's if and thens though. So
yeah, and look, I just took out Pinduoduo. We were able to get that short twice off of 43. You can see, like, the first time through, it gives you all the way down to 42. So you get the move. Second time it bounces off VWAP. We take some out. We don't get the low of the day break. We're trying to hold to see if it can get that break through that 42, get down to 40. It couldn't do it, but the stop out has to be there. I can get wicked out, and then sort of it falls back down, and it'll be pie in face and it won't age well, but you have to be able to take that out. The market is trying to head to the upside, and we can't ignore it. It can only work so many times. You go back to the same well over and over again, and eventually you will see it break. But remember, this was the middle of the range that we shorted on Pinduoduo. That's why a little bit more aggressive with the outs. If it does get to 45, 46, it's the same playbook as yesterday. Nike, for now, and in part probably because it's already up 5 or 6%, it's not really breaking out through those highs. It's still maintaining this middle of the range here. Now, every time it gets to the top, we've been able to get in. But with the market screaming, it is resisting a little bit. So any turn in the market, I'll take advantage to try to get out near that low of the day. I'm not sure we're going to get that 135 if we have enough market strength.
Yeah, and again, I was thinking the market was going to go to the downside, and normally I'm bullish, but here we go. We are short Facebook and about to get out right now at that 214.20 area. It did just resist it a little bit, but whatever. The way this thing trades, man, it just rips upside and it comes right back. So I do expect to get taken out of this one. That is our out right here, a breakthrough 20. It's actually literally a breakthrough 20. So now it's coming back in a little bit, but we need these futures, man. Like, look at that. See there. I was going to say, we need these futures. Like, they started to go, then they just went right back up. So another hit for us on Facebook as we keep trying these shorts, man. It looks like the market doesn't want the short to hit. So unfortunately, right now, it still is going to the upside, which is fine. We just need to get long on something. I was debating NEO, but again, these names have to just right now, we had some great plays early, and then right now, we're just trying to fade out some of these. Wow, Ford's up to 17.20 right now. Unbelievable. Upstart bounces off that 117 one more time. If anything's going to be short, it's probably going to be Upstart today. So this is another level that we can watch. But again, man, it's like, what do these futures even want to do? Upside, downside, bounce off the 50 period, now start to go higher. So I feel like they bounced off that 50 period nicely. We just need to look long. And if we had stayed long Facebook, we'd be $3 in the money, but we didn't, and we got out for a nice 60-cent win. So darn it, man. Goldman Sachs working for us, back in the money on that trade. But yeah, things are good, man. Banks are strong today.
Yeah, and this LLL that Brendan just brought to your attention with the big order, because greater than the market cap, but halted, volatility halt. It's indicating a 458 open when it halted at 457. It should be back in about 2 minutes. If it's not, then it means it's a 10-minute halt, so wait another 5 minutes after that. But it did already put in, like, one halt, reopen. I'm not sure why it didn't halt the second time here, because it went from $2.50 to $3.50 in 3 minutes. Last time I checked, that should trigger volatility halt. And you're breaking out already, and this is sort of one of those, if it had turned here at 380, look for the short. We don't even have locates on this, so I'm going to probably check back in. This goes to $5, and obviously I'd be trying, but it's a 2 million float. So very, very tiny. I always say take profits in names like this, but clearly the bulls are in charge of this one. Now indicating a $4.80 open. I'll keep checking for locates because I don't want to be married to only one direction in any of those trades. Of course, DPRO. When it did the shakeout, I did try to get back into it and missed. It still hasn't broken that $3, let alone that 280 support, 280, 290 support from the pre-market. So it can still make a bit of a base. Right now, it's just Nike we're holding in the money. Even Mullen, which, I talked about liking 325 to 335. It gets to 320 and consolidates. So I'm trying not to chase anything at this point, but it can get frustrating. Like, what'll happen is you see a stock screaming into your level that you want to play it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm about to get this. Here we go. And then it stalls out right in front of where you wanted to take the trade. And it can be really tempting to chase it, but that would be sort of breaking the rules. And I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But LLL, man, if you just, remember, you said, Brendan gave the numbers on that thing, and then you were like, wow, that's pretty significant. If you had just punched in, it was just, man, it's thin, but it's done 9 million shares worth of volume, and that's a crazy move there. 130% to the upside, and maybe still going as we send you back to Brendan for happening now.
I got you just like that. 10 o'clock. Nicely positive right across this entire board so far. 0.7 for the S&P, about the same for the Dow and the NASDAQ. All nicely higher on the day. TSX holding on to a slight gain as well. Same story for cryptocurrencies. We said in the pre-market there. Nice move to kick things off for most of the stocks as well, it's worth saying. Mara doing crazy volume so far. Yeah, Carnival missing, still holding on to a slight gain. Tesla back to the upside once again as well on that Berlin headline. And yeah, Upstart, not good so far. No bid yet. Anyways, for UPST, guys.
As soon as you say that, it's really just ripping here. Brennan, the caller of the stocks right now, and it's just the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's taking out highs here. So Upstart did catch a bid at that 113, and amazing, a couple dips down here to 113, but now starting to take off Upstart. It's funny because I didn't even realize Brennan was going to talk about that, and I was looking at it just taking these levels. This is kind of what we like. I mean, I like this level right here on Upstart. The problem for me, and again, I cannot believe how long this market is. We called a rally last week, and it's great, man. The account is just blasting to the north side right now. I told you, we want that ARC KQ. I mean, look what this name is doing right now as well. We're long at 64. It's only to 68. It's not like it's a huge move, but really happy with that. I said to Brett C, I believe, that we look at SoFi here today. I just reshorted NEO into that day's high. We're going to hold out for that 2140 level, but let's look at SoFi right now. Nice little move upside. This is that YOLO trade, man. I said go long at that 840. Whatever that YOLO bottom was, you had to hold it, I guess, to 8 against you. But now you're up, and that was $1.40 now in the money on that trade when you only had to risk that 40 cents. So I like that trade. Okay, we're starting to get real spicy now as NEO back up to the upside. I will have to look at SoFi for you, Brett, and I will look. It's almost near 10. But right now, NEO exploding to the upside. It looks like we will test that day high on NIO. We've given everything back on this name as the market just rally city, man. We did not see this coming, not today.
Oh, I was trying to find it's a trap because we were talking about, I'm in CCL, by the way. We talked about 1930. You need to wait for it to start to curl before I got into it. But yeah, if SoFi is going to be at $10, which I haven't even double checked to make sure it's close. It's not quite there yet, but we were mentioning this level the other day. Yeah, if it gets there, I'm going to short it, and maybe you're running into a bit of a freight train when it does, but a double top at 10 plus the even dollar, I'm anticipating there's going to be some size on the offer if SoFi gets to $10, and that's the play. So if you're not looking to scalp it, which is like $9.95 to $9.99 short with a 10 out if there's a million shares on there, then I don't know that that's a trade for you unless you're just trying to scalp, because you'll probably want to get out a bunch of it from low 90s to 85 if it does make that move. Like, look at this wall at 975. If it gets through this and goes to 10, I'm getting out of that short before it gets to 975 every single time. So, that's the plan of action, and we've been waiting for maybe SoFi to get up there. Maybe the market strength gives us that. Here's CCL on the higher time frame. I know I was showing you the 1 minute chart curling, but a little bit easier to see. This is yesterday's high up here at 1930. You have overhead, the 1950 level. Then you got the daily chart here, this same little cluster. I just wanted to short the top end of the range. It wasn't a good report. The market strength is what gets me into the trade. So we're into the short on CCL. Nike continues to try to bounce off this level, that 139, but it can't break the low. Obviously, we're headed towards 4,500 on the ES, which is a bit of trouble. Like, there's no way we're going to get this at 134, 135, unless the market starts to turn around a little bit. But there's no question it's relatively weak since the market opened up. It's been finding resistance and retracing back to the lows. The short still valid on Nike, but this market at some point could prove me wrong.
Yeah, and the market is proving us wrong every day because you can't hit everything perfectly, but we will look at that one. Nike, a good mover there. Neil's had some good shorts. Yeah, so we are short into Neo there, and I'm just loaded up on this name, and we were right early, but then the shorts haven't been, and we did have to put on our big boy pants up here, and we got an average price of 24. You guys saw that. Now it's going to say 27 because we got out of these trades for a loser, but our average price because of the shares was 24. So when this came back down in, man, our first out was 20. Then we got some 18s. Other than that, we didn't. We're still holding on to 75% of this trade, hoping. And I hate when we're hoping for things to happen, but I am literally hoping right now that this can come back in. We'll take some 20s. We are on the bid here for lower. I'm hoping to get some 15s, 16s, and then trace back down to 21. But I'm way overloaded on this Neo trade right now, so I apologize, but I do have to sit here and watch this one for right now. That DPRO. Okay, man, but look at Upstart. Upstart is great. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get into Upstart. I just saw, I'm like, 120. Like, you kidding me? Yeah. I know I liked 122, but that's an $8 move off a triple bottom screaming into 120. If I can play off an even level, sometimes you just go ahead and take that. And look, let's not forget the fact that when 122 held in the pre-market, this was 120 bottom. This was the resistance level at about 8 o'clock 8 a.m. in the morning. So 8 a.m. is obviously in the morning. Shut up, Neil. So I'm now short 119. I want to give it that dollar through 120, which does mean 1-to-1. Remember that 18 level? Yeah, that's 1-to-1 there. Even if it comes down to VWAP, that's a pretty valid trade. But Upstart absolutely screaming, and I was with you thinking it was only going to be a short trade, but that 120, it came into play a lot faster than I anticipated. It's a good thing I at least had the stock level 2 up, so we're ready to get it, but into another short off of a key level. So at least being patient with it, but it could run us over here with this market, that 45,000 on the ES, right? Like, if that goes, there's a lot of things which might make that big break if they haven't already done so.
Yeah, we could be dead in the water. We are short here right now against that 120. So here it comes.
I just got wicked out into a break.
Pretty close. Yeah, okay, pretty close. I was going to say pretty close to a break, if not a break. But 120 there to the upside. It's showing a one. I don't know. Our high is 128, so I don't know if that did break or not. But if you got out, then unfortunate. But I am in this name, but I'm only short at 119.50. So it's not like it's a good trade. It did come all the way back down in there for this. But again, if the market blows up, man, we are in dead man walking because we do have this Neo trade on, and I do have a decent amount of shares on this Neo trade. So I am going to try to get some pieces out. Yes, sir. Neo to the downside, Upstart to the downside. Here we go. Let's go. Let's get this market down now. I'm not super excited about this Upstart, but if this can get back into the 118 area, we'll definitely start layering some bids on that one. But who knows? But there goes Neo. We exacted revenge, baby, on this name, and that's perfect for me. All the way to the downside. Down goes Neo right now. What's up, B?
Turtle Beach here, which is HEAR is the ticker. Citron just tweeting about them saying, quote unquote, takeover imminent over $36. This thing's at 21 right now. So not a lot of volume here, but a heads up. Citron on here, guys.
Oh,
Takeover imminent, really?
bang right now, guys. Let's go. Congratulations. We are now on one, $1 now in the money on UPSD, plus, taking some out as we go. And bang goes the dynamite boom goes the dynamite for NIO to the downside right now as that is starting to clock in. Nice moves for Upstart, nice moves for NEO. I told you I was DOA on this name, man, but it came right back in for me. So perfectly done there. Unfortunately, for some reason, it stops down here, but let's go continue to the downside. NIO. We got to try to hold this, and boom with Upstart, man. Back to 118. Let's go to 117. Yeah, here it goes, 117 and change. Let's go. Let's Gronk spike that today. $2 in the money. $2 for Upstart, and a nice little win. I'm making a hell of a lot more money on NEO, though, guys. Trust on that.
Yeah, I just took a couple of legs out of Upstart myself. There is the shorts. We talked about them starting to come in here and the market trying to curl. CCL, which we got into off the top, first leg out. Want to take another leg out in front of VWAP there. And Nike, it makes another break. So it looks like that one, another break off that low. It's trying to make this wedge and break it. Once it happens, we're going to be getting out in front of 135. With any market reversal, you can see what happens with the volatility here. You've just got to be able to find that key level. There was a wick break here on Upstart, and I had to pay the spread to get back in. It did go to 120.10, but if that ever happens to me, you just jump back into it. You're going to lose on a stock like this, like 40 or 50 cents, but just jump back into the trade if it didn't really violate that level. Brendo?
Hey Neil, LLL opened and went all the way to the moon, and guys, we would love to see the same on the like button. We need just 400 more likes to get 2,000, and we have more than 6,000 people watching, so please find just a second and give us a like. Back to you guys.
Yeah, guys. I mean, if you're not having fun today, then I don't know, man. My eyes going everywhere. This has been a big trading day for me for sure as we go, man. I mean, I might as well just cancel some of these NEO trades and see if it just wants to go lower into some of these 21s here. But there goes Upstart again. I tried to put a bid down here, but missed us down near. I mean, we were literally at this 117, so we come a little bit away from that. But we only now have 20% left of Upstart as the futures are going, right? I mean, this is part of it. Like we could, and that's how you trade, man. I mean, you gotta, take your shots when they're there. And then there goes Upstart right now back up to the upside. So we're gonna take that break. Obviously, if that 120 does officially break to the upside there, we will get out. So watch out for that. But here comes NEO, here comes Upstart. It's such a good trade day for us here today. Just trying to hold on to some of these shorts. I'm now pretty thrilled, man. I mean, I can't believe this went down to 21 there. This is going to look crazy, but hey, welcome to Scalpville. It's what I do. My name is Sean, and honestly, like, I'm taking more shares than I'm even comfortable with, and then just making sure that the levels, and that's part of it, right? You gotta up your shares, or you're not going to be comfortable, and you're not going to take your game to that next level, right? Like last year, I had my best year ever, and I can't beat that unless I A, trade better, which I think I'm doing, and then B, to beat it for sure, I'm going to have to up my shares a little bit. Wow, there goes Palantir, by the way, through 13. Wow, what a good move that is. Shout out to you, Henry, man. I was talking about the short there. Never came in, and we should have hit that long right there, but a nice little move up to 13. And I did mention, though, that if we got to 13, you may want to look. We've topped out here, and it's just the last 2 days at 13. And if you go all the way back, there's that 12 break so high. So, 13's a new level here for Palantir. Good little, oh, that's 12 story. Hold on a second. 13's a good little level as now we've gone through 1250. Let's see if 13 can hold on. PLTR, baby.
And I just got into that LLL, and apologies for not knowing the name of the company, but Brendan just brought it to us, so we're not familiar with it. It made that break after halting to the upside. It makes a break of $6. You might be able to see, got a wick high right through 650. That was a failed break. I couldn't grab that because we didn't have the locates. We just got the locates, and was able to short off a retrace of 6 down into 550. I'm looking for $5 for first support here, but if this makes a test at that 650 level, that's the only place I want to reload. I'm not thinking 7. I'm only thinking the 650 level. As a matter of fact, there we go. Just got into it, and so I'll set my stop. And again, you don't have to use stops if you don't want to, but I would never trade one of these without having a clean to find out. So the first short was off of 6. We were able to get some out there, actually the bulk of it. Then I go back to the 650 level where the fail break was, and always going to be scalping out. It just gave me 550s there. And you don't have to Here's the thing. I get it. You probably don't want to always be trading names like this, but once it settles down, by settle down, I mean halt a couple of times, stay open for a bit, and start to find some price discovery, then you can see levels like that false break at 650. Come right back in. You find a bit of a shelf here at 6 even. There's a scalp into 550 for about 5 to 10 points, and then it makes another jailbreak at the top, and you're just looking for that same failed move at 650. I jumped in here at 625, and then you see all the outs are right here at about 550 in front of that first level, and then the rest in front of 5. I'm not looking to hold this all the way to the halt bottom. And one of the reasons we sort of talk through this is you want to be able to have that opportunity to see a trade like that, know what your game plan is going to be before it happens. And that's why we go over our strategies. Whoops, actually I got 2 outs there on Upstart, but didn't adjust my stop. So when it broke 120, I was accidentally long there. Just gonna grab out of that trade. The short was pretty good, but only gave you to 117. Upstart is in a very strong upward trend. I'm not gonna fight it any longer. We were able to get a bit on that little short there, but looks like that it's all it wants to give us over there in Upstart. Everything else so far working out. LLL for the dub, and then CCL as well. I don't want to forget about this. I am on the bid in front of 19. It is not yet curling into VWAP, but with the market still trying to test those highs, both the NASDAQ and the ES looking very strong, Carnival off the earnings did hit that top and start to roll over, but you got to grab profit when you're going counter trend. Just have to.
Yeah, we got out of the Upstart. Upstart's a big win for me today as well. So congratulations, anybody on UPST. Okay, that's an interesting move upside there for Neo. We'll take some more shares. Sorry, I'm still on Palantir. Here we go. There we go. Neo, nice little move upside here. We'll take some more shares into this level. We still have the high there. This is a 20-minute chart. We still have these highs of 2140 or so that we have to look at. So let's just wait to see if it does take it out. We've averaged into the short. This is why, man, we clean this out. Like, this is what we're doing. If this takes out 2140, then we're going to have a problem. But we are, as we always say, we are... Ooh, man. But this time, though, man, I mean, how many times to the well shall we go on this trade? I mean, if it comes back in right now, then we'll probably take some out. You can see the average price now 27 on NIO. So if it does make a move back up to the upside, then yeah, that's going to be an L. We're looking at 2140 or so as the high of the day for Neo. It's 2137, so a break of 2140, and we'll have a decision to make on our hands. Upstart still hovering around that 120, but it's Brendan's world, and we all just live in it.
Clean energy name Gevo up on a deal with Delta today. So they signed a long-term contract with Delta Airlines. So back to day highs here for GVO.
Oh man. Yeah, buddy.
Oh, why not? I'm going to go back over to, I just got the next leg on CCL. I should probably just jinx myself because it touched down to the 1905 bid, and I don't know why you ever bid even on like 1905 or 19 even. Sometimes just get out in front of it because at the obvious level, it gets a bit of a bounce. But the turnover is definitely starting to happen here. And I know the NASDAQ is strong and the ES as well, but this is what I meant. Like once you get that curl, anything that's off of those levels that's working for you to the short side, it's going to be time to start taking that profit in. So we're glad we're able to get that first fill, the second fill 19. I'm now looking for not VWAP, but a little bit closer to this 1885 area on CCL as that continues to work. LL Cool J is... Anyways, that broke back below 6 even, but look at the strength it still has. Now, the only bearish sign is probably that volume is tapering off. Everything else is still pretty bullish here. That's why we're trimming some at 550. I still am maintaining the same stop. If it breaks 650, I'm just going to get out of this thing, and I'm still on the bid in front of 5 even. But at some point, either volume picks back up or the rug gets pulled on this name. It needs to put in way more volume than this. You guys can't see the volume. I'll have to do this for you guys so you can see. It has to do way more volume than this for it to get that break, I would think, and have it be legitimate to take it to the next level. And that's one of the things you should always look for when you're playing these low float names.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, someone said, why am I shorting in bullish days and longing on bearish days? Yeah, no, I know. Tell me about it. But this 2140 right here, I mean, yesterday was a positive day for me. The day before, I mean, I think we're on a pretty good streak right now. We did have a losing day last week in there. But yeah, we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing, man. But we do have our out here. So, I mean, Neo could bust. And when it does, man, it's going right up to the upside. So we do have our stop order in. We just have to wait for it. That's why, like here, even on reloads, I just want to like show you Like, I trade differently than everybody else. Like, I'm taking bigger positions and then scalping them out, just because we have that ability to do that. So, like, I just got an 18, a 20s. Like, these are short right here. You can see the prices. I'm sure I told you a short 27.50 or whatever it is right now. And now it's starting to go up to the upside. So we do have, you know, our risk parameters in place here where, sure, we can get blown out to the upside, but we will get stopped out. And that's why we're just trying to scalp through some of these levels. And it will take like one more fill maybe right here. Not maybe, we will take one more fill at 35 and then see about holding, if it comes up to us, and then see about holding it through 40, and then that's it. And then if it breaks through 40, then we are gone on that play. But wow, yeah. Big time movements today, man. Facebook's up to, like, look at Facebook. We were initially long right here, which is the crazy part about it. Then we went short and got out, and now it's up to 216 and just ripping as these futures continue to go. Like, this is a nice little high here for Facebook. I think we should consider this, man. A 217 break. Then you got jailbreaker on Facebook to the upside. 217 and you're gone here. Facebook just doesn't want to look back, man. And there goes Neo as well, back up to the, there. Look at Neo, takes off. And that's why we get out, man. It just took out that 2150. Woo! Right to the upside. Wow. And there you go, right? That's why you got to have those stops. Neo, rip City to the upside right now.
So we talked about Coinbase a little bit there, and I know that Chanos, that short's got to be pretty interesting, but Bitcoin still holding, there we go, 43, just double checking. I wanted to make sure, as this is going to be counter trend. You want to make sure everything lines up if you want something like that. But that 185 level on Coinbase just put in a wick top up there, 186 it got to pretty cleanly. Remember we said resisting that 50 period, and you get this nice little consolidation off the top. If it sets up, it sets up. That's your wick off top. I probably should have already had this here at 185, but guess what? It's at 185 again, so I'll see if I can't pick it up. And when you get it the second time through, or if you get it the second time through, you've got to recognize that, you know, this was the trade that you wanted, and it's already put in a move down here for $1.50. You haven't captured that. So a lot of times I don't expect it to be as good. If it had gone all the way to view up, probably more dangerous, but it's still some room for it to reverse here. And my stop is going to be through that high of the day. I don't need this breaking 186. You risk that dollar. I want to get some out at 1-to-1. That'll be at that 184 area, and then down to that 183.50 and VWAP. So Coinbase was a name that was on the radar for the short trade. It's given you a couple, but remember, this is a booming market. Those levels are valid, but they're only valid till they're not. And you have to keep that in mind, right? Like, if something breaks out, you've got to be able to just accept that it's gonzo. Nike down here, by the way, and this is in the face of a screaming market, this just continues to flush. So 136 is about to go. I can't find anything that's this much counter trend, so I'm not moving my bid. I'm still going to be in front of 134.50. It just feels like it has to go. It's getting really, really close. Just doesn't seem to want to break yet.
I think we're getting ready to go to Brendan at the big screen. It looks like he's got...
Guys, yeah, we'll talk some small caps. Mullen was on watch this morning after this insane move on crazy volume over the past couple of days. 340, 380, big move down once again late in the day yesterday if you weren't with us on monstrous volume. So 340, 380, the levels that I'm just going to use. Very active again today, although volume starting to die off a little bit, but Mullen not really doing much, stuck in a range at this point, down 4% on the day. DPRO, positive story, 283 was support, or that area in the pre-market, gave you a nice break to the upside. Didn't quite get, I said 420 could be possible, didn't quite get there. 380, 375 was the top end, but we're right back to 3. So we'll see what happens here at 3 for DPRO on the long. PIK, if you remember, a nice short off the open yesterday. I just did the same thing. Breakdown of 520 gave you a nice trade for PIK, guys. Back over to you.
We got a banger on right now again, so we'll go, oh my God. And again, I'm just trying to scalp this out so we don't get Neo'd again to the upside, but there it is, a nice little win for Ford. Comes back in, hits that 17.10. We took the, what am I long, 12s there, long 12, and then Ford just bumping up right now to a nice little 19 level. And if you look at the chart, we're trying to get out some 20s here. There it is, a nice little move through 20. I was on a paid gateway, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should go to a free one, but no, it goes right through. We get that money in there, and now we'll see if Ford wants to retest some of those highs. And I just like switched up the game there, and I got to thank the audience. I mean, this is what the People's Trader is doing. You mentioned, like, why in the heck am I going short into a day like today? And I say, Point well taken. And then right away, guys, we switch it up, and that's what we're talking about. And therefore,
money,
we're putting some of this in our pocket one more time. So, yeah, good little advice. Thank you for that, guys, as we go. Yeah, really super happy with the way this performance is going today on Ford. A nice little long 17.12. Now we move mad upside here, hopefully for this name. I still want to go short NEO, man, but it's just like we got blown out there, so I'm a little bit gun shy. But there's that 21.50. We talked about that. The thing is like I don't know if I can anymore. That's been a monster move to the upside here for NEO today. Just continuation. Alibaba's at 117 also.
Yeah, I just got the first out there in Coinbase. Was able to make half that curl into that 184 level, but there was a buyer that just stepped up here at 184.5. So I jumped in front of that instead of trying to grab the extra 50 cents. And every now and then you're going to see something like this. Whether it's an iceberg or just a size order, and it's a little bit in front of a level that you like to get out of anyways, you just move and take the out while it's there, because it might then retest higher. And if that happens, you missed a chance to take out some of your profit, which we just did. Nike, finally Nike. We'll do one of these. Kind of missed out on the trade deadline. I was looking to see if anything was interesting in hockey, but the Leafs picked up Giordano. I didn't really see anything else that was crazy. But Nike finally breaks out through the low. This is what we're looking for. That 136 is gone. Now you're seeing it, which has been counter trend all day already, but now you're seeing it really start to flush. I'm maintaining that 134.50 bid. Looks like that one's going to work out. CCL right into VWAP, and we took some shares out in front of 19 like we showed you, and then at this point I'm kind of thinking we can get 18.8 here. My stop is still in there. I'm probably going to have to adjust it just a little bit because we got some shares out, but as long as this double top is held, I still think we can get even like a shallow win. This is a shallow win. It's only about 40 to 50 cents, right? But off of that double top high of the day, you got to have a significant level. That's what we got here, hopefully, on CCL if it can continue. I haven't once looked at a firm today. Probably a good thing. Because it is screaming back into the upside. Look at that double bottom at 40 even. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, what am we? Like, sometimes there's things that aren't like, a firm's been a sort of like a short till it's not kind of thing for me. But if any stock that goes to $40 at the open like this and then retests the bottom, puts a failed breakdown. Like look at the volume candle breaking 40, getting to 39.80, and then it gives you this entry point. It consolidates for like 2 or 3 minutes before just running $3 to the upside. That is one of the best setups you can have for a bullish trade. But here's the daily chart. It's still trying to get through 43.5, 44. Like this range here on the daily is a pretty big one on a firm. So as much as it's screaming, I'd probably give it one more shot. I got wicked out of this trade at 44. That's the only level I want. To me, it's either 44 for a short. I guess you can reverse along at 45, and then 40 even. What a support level that was for a firm. Can't catch everything. I wasn't even looking at that this morning, but obviously should have been.
Yeah, someone talking about BABA for a value investor. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, I still do hold some shares long in BABA. I really like that name, and I think, there it goes, taking it out. And also Meta, I like for a long term. I've talked about that, and I know people are going to hate Meta for the long term, but hopefully you'll see. Hopefully I'll be right, you'll be wrong, but we'll see what does happen right now on that one. Yeah, CCL, Neil took that short. That was nice. Alibaba. So again, it's just a matter of like these Chinese names, man, up now 13%, like Alibaba, and it's crazy because we talked about it right here on this support. Like, wow, back to 113. We talked about that on here, and it comes right back into 113, and then just rips up. But a nice little move upside here for Alibaba. So our Ford trade, we're out of 3/4 of this name now as it's coming back in. But I still want to try to respect some of these levels in. It's just it already had its move, so I am little weary of this Ford play, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. We're still waiting down here at 05, 06 to see if we can get a long and then hold it against this 17. So I think that's the better play now. Like I said, we are, I can get more and more out here, but we're basically flat. Not basically, we still have a quarter of it, but nicely done up to the upside. Our best outs there, 22s on the upside there. So we'll take a 13 if we can get it, and then just wait for those 06s. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. The amount of shares that we want to put on here at 06, is significant. So hopefully that can come through. AMD, wow, what a rip that is having, especially NVIDIA as well. As I was watching both of those names, I'll have to go over and maybe see Intel a little lower price. Maybe I can get some more shares into that name if it hasn't gone already. But right now, NVIDIA, everything's at the day's high, but 270 right here, a nice little level for NVIDIA. Possibly a little long take on this trade. Brendo?
DWAC just popping up again, guys. Past couple of days been very active on some Trump appearances. So just breaking 70 here on a volume spike for DWAC.
Oh, DWAC coming back there. I just want to go back to DPRO because it is worth mentioning. It looked like it was going to flush. There was that false break at 380, I guess, and that wick top there at 370, and then it fell in. But it's still holding all those support levels from the morning. Whether it's 280, 290, $3, I mean, we're not even really testing it that strongly. So the longer it holds this, the better chance it has to make a secondary move. It's actually 10:30. What am I even talking about? I was about to say, almost wanted it to be a little bit closer to lunchtime, but that little consolidation, it's going to be worth it for me. I'm going to stick in front of $3 here. See if we can't get something to the long side. I don't want to chase it too far, but as long as we're above it looks like 290 here is probably the better level, but I'll give it to 285. As long as we're above that, I think this has a second chance to run. Like, you would have thought it would capitulate. The only thing missing is volume. Like, the volume is tapering off, but that's also a function of the time of day, right? You're not going to get everything you want. Coinbase ran back up to the lower high, tried to break out again, and then sort of faded back in here. I just keep checking to make sure that we're not truly breaking back out towards 44 or anything like that. So that's all good in Coinbase, but it can't break out of this dollar range. So we got some of it out, 184.5, and now just want to see if we can't get more, down at that 183.50 to 84, and then the rest out here at VWAP, and we'll make sure we take that out at 183 for that little retracement trade. CCL, that one seems to be working out pretty well. It did, give me a break. I got to move that bit. So it did break VWAP, and then we're talking about that 1880. Well, it got to 1885, so I was sitting beneath that. This is the area that we wanted it out. So I probably shouldn't get too greedy here. I'll just grab in front of 1890, just sit on the bid. Like, you wanted that little flush there, but it already bounced off of this. So if it makes that consolidation, it's all about the pop and curl. Find those levels, right? Like, this is the thing. You had that nice tight cluster there on the daily chart. And then we also had this bit of a double top going on with yesterday's highs. It's a lower high as well. And then you just do the pop and fade trade. It's obviously better at 9:30. You can't pretend that it's not, well, not 9:30, but it's obviously better when the earnings release came out. But you needed to have it settle back down, right? Then it opened up, tried to put that move in, didn't quite get to the top, and that's why we didn't short it there. But it did get to the top there at about 10 o'clock. So be patient, because it would have been really easy to have this short, which is good, but it was a lot better when it gave you your entry off of that high, which was the level that we were looking for. I did get picked up on DPRO just now. So in front of that 3, got 305s. Going to be taking some out every 10 to 15 cents. So just got some out at 15s, 20s, 25s, 30s, you know the drill, to that upside there on DPRO. But I do want to hold on to something. You don't want to get everything out, because if it does make that jailbreak past this 330, I think we can get back to the 50 to 65 range. The longer we hold that support, the better. Brendo?
Another earnings name just popping up here, guys, on volume. 10 Cent Music was on the board last night. If you were with us late in the day, just broke $5 there on the way back to the upside. Wasn't really doing much in the pre-market on no volume whatsoever. So heads up on TME. Let's get a quick check on how things over in Europe are shaping up. Couple hours left in the day over there, Miss V. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are in positive territory. Just Eat Takeaway is up around 2% on partnership with McDonald's to expand deliveries. Back to you.
Officially, a 1% day for the S&P, guys.
All right.
And 45 and
yeah, spin it. Right now, NVIDIA, we finally say, let's just go long like, the beast. So we did take it now. NVIDIA straight up to the upside right now. Long at 269.50. That's the break that we wanted. We actually got 66s, so not a great break long there. We had to pay a little bit too much in that spread, but that's fine. As we're going up to the upside now, a 70-cent winner. We already took out of not much of it. We're going to see 271 is what we're looking at right now for NVIDIA. We had that high, 271.60. So if we can get something out, man, at 271 flat, then we'll do that. Right now, $1 in the money on NVIDIA as it's starting to finally go back up to the upside right now. So let's see if this one can explode a little bit here, and maybe we can have the win that we're hoping for up to that 271 level for NVIDIA. But right now, it's $1 in the money, so we'll take it for now if we can. We did dump our Ford, man. Well, almost all of it. We still have a little piece of Ford, and again, we've already taken the profit on here. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but we'll hold on to it. And just because I'm long NVIDIA, I kind of feel like this is really where I'm lying right now. The moves that could happen on NVIDIA, considering the amount of shares that I have versus Ford, is so much greater. So I'm going to be watching out for NVIDIA here. It just stopped at this 270.50 level. I'm wondering if we just take a piece out at 270.50 and then hold for that bigger move to the upside. Let's go, NVIDIA. It's starting to explode upside.
Yeah, this market is just screaming. 1.5 now on the NASDAQ. The ES, it just got to that 1% mark, but the NASDAQ has been churning anyways. We're getting really close here. And look, like I said about Nike, it's trying to go down, right? Like obviously you can see that's the case. It's trying to fill in that gap, but it's stalling out here at 135.50. And with the market continuing to press, it's getting a little bit greedy at this time to not be trying to take this out in front of 135. It's also psychological, like a $5 level is not nothing as well. So, I'm going to pop on the bid here, see if I can't get Nike out. It'll still be a good trade. It's still about $1 shy short of what we're looking for. But you cannot, I got a key for this one. You cannot continue to look a gift horse in the mouth. Like at some point, like there's no question about it. If the market actually rolled over from here, Nike was going to go, and it was going to give that fill, but it's still up 4%, and it's had a good report, and the market's screaming here, so we're just going to take that short off. I'm in the Coinbase one still, but that gave us one leg out, and now it feels like it wants to make a bit of a break as well. So this market getting pretty strong. I've managed to navigate the shorts, and they've worked out today, but like I said, don't look gift horses in the mouth. Make sure you take your stops because not doing so would get me into a little bit of trouble. I know I looked at a firm once. It's not there yet, but it feels inevitable. With this market, it's going to get to that 44, it seems, and I'll take a chance when it gets there.
I mean, at least every day I'm learning something, and it's just like, come on, guys. Like, honestly, we'll do a little bit of a floss because, we just switched up our game. We're looking for high breaks on a day where it's very aggressive, this market, up that 1.7%, and now we have a $2 winner on NVIDIA, just like that. So we only have 20% left, but we've already traded. I mean, that's 50 cents, that's 80 cents, that's $1, and then we just took out 270.95, that's $1.30. So now, we can hold the rest of this as we have broken now above here on NVIDIA, above this level here of 268.50. That's why we like the long in the first place. Now you have a couple wicks up here. I don't know if we hit the this is really high. Like that's 278, and then that's 276. So we'll hold out, man, for this. But what's up, John Borges? Good to see you, my friend. A nice little dollar super chat there. I don't know what that's for, but thank you so much for that one. We'll save a little bit of fees there, put $1 towards our fees today. Although we've made, I have $5.60 in fees with 139 trades. So, just to show you that we are adding liquidity and making sure that we get some of those rebates into our account as well. So all is well on that one. I'm just going to hold this NVIDIA trade. My eyes are up here. I can't believe it. Shout out to Trader Pratt as well. Good call on that Apple, man. And I'm so glad the way this is working back up to the 50 period. And we've done videos on this. Anytime Apple goes down to the 200 period, crazy not to buy it if you are a long-term investor, but there goes Apple to the upside. No stopping that one. NVIDIA at day's high as well. We're all good. And then honestly, this Ford, it's just, whatever, man. I'm just going to get out of here at 11 if I can. I don't really like what it's doing now. Oops, there it is right here. It's coming to the downside now as the market's still ripping upside. So obviously we understand why there's a value play here with Ford as opposed to what's actually ripping, and that is the NASDAQ. So a lot of money may be coming out of Ford into some of these semis. But hey, 99 problems, man. NVIDIA ain't one, as this is now ripping today's high, and we've got the long. Just wish we had it all. We still have some, which is better than none.
You're damn right it is. It's always better. You got to get what you got to get. The thing about the trade sometimes, too, is if it's harder to get into the position, it just might mean that it's even better than you expect, right? And that's a notion of liquidity. I'm out of Coinbase, not going to fight it too far. So if I'd gotten the second leg, we'd be up on it, but I didn't quite get that second fill. You see it breaking that top, and if you're playing off a level like that, you got to walk away. I'm kicking myself on SoFi, and we'll go to Brendan in a quick sec. It didn't quite get there, but so close. We talked about $10. They got to $9.88. before making a bit of a turn there. So still on the run. If this market continues its trend, we'll see SoFi 10. And that's the thing, in a trending market like this, if you're waiting for a short turn, when the market's this strong, wait for your price. If it's strong enough, it should get there. There's no need to jump in early because given this strength, I would anticipate that we should be able to get to that high. And if it's 97, 98 that you want, it's 97, 98 you should take. Brendo?
A little crazy one from yesterday, just popping back up, coming back to life a little bit. NRSN, if you remember, FDA approval yesterday on an ALS treatment. So it was doing absolutely nothing up until a few minutes ago. Some volume coming back to NRSN.
Yeah, that was a name from yesterday. I have to find out how Baxter's doing today. He has his program running, so we're going to find out what's going on with that. Yeah. Okay, NEO, again, like we're in, so just an update here. We did tick down to 270.50 there. I don't really have a target out for this trade. We're already out of a decent spot of it here, so already really happy with the performance. NVIDIA shoots up. I mean, Upstart, going to be one of my number one stock, but NVIDIA about to take that out once we get out of this one, and it just happened real quick, real quick. Roblox right now as well, that's up 5%, looking at 50 in the face. I'll never forget when 50 Cent came down in the Super Bowl, looked like dude was going to fall on his head there. Glad he didn't. Right now, Roblox looking like it wants to take out the high of the day right now, and including getting back up near this 50 mark. If we take out this 50.30, then I think there's something here on Roblox. We'll look at that. It's still $2 away, but 50.30 for RBLX. I like it. I like the stock. I like the trade. It's just a lot of these names are up so much, man. Like this was 46 today, up to 49. It's just some of these names continue to extend out, and that, like, you know, we're holding it. That's great, but this NEO, man, like, wow, we are really into this trade, and then got taken out right there. But I still want to get back into the short on NEO. I just got to find out where, and it may not be in the cards today. It's just a ripper.
Just quickly, so I know you guys are looking at Pinduoduo, and trust me, I'm looking at it as well. That 46 we talked about, but it broke this yesterday. Like, remember, it got above 46 in the pre-market, and that was a failed break. It then retested that same level. So in a strong market, I'm letting it press into this level here, and either it curls and starts to come down, which it's trying to do there, and then you jump into it, like, yeah, just got in, or the other way to play that is, I should be on the 1 minute so you guys can see. The other way to play that would be let it try to break the level, like what I was really hoping for, and that's why I'm sort of a little bit, you know, sort of cautious here. We got two things, and I should be showing you this as well. Complete the full thought, Neil. We got a 4,500 break on the ES, and then you're rejecting that, right? So that's one reason not to wait for the failed break. You're looking at the NASDAQ as well. It pulled back off those highs. But as it breaks at 46, remember, it got through this level before. Showed you. So if it comes back in without getting to next level 46.5, that is a reload before 46, but the stop has to be above 46 even. And that's what happens when you have a level like this and it's already shown you that it'll break and then flush like $8 there. You have to be willing to either hold through or wait for the false breakout. So in this case, if it breaks the 50, we're oddly enough, there's size there. There we go. I'm going to get out of this trade now. In size there, we're going to get out of that one. And why am I long? Give me a break. You saw me hit the key twice. The first one didn't get the fill. Cancel first. I always pay the spread because of that. Like, cancel first and then throw your other order. I just paid like 5 cents of spread. But that's the key thing for that trade. Like, you've got to give it to that next level up. In this particular situation, if you put the stop at 46 even, you're going to get wicked out. And when the resulting upside is trying to catch a move, I think to about 44.5 to 44, then it's worth it to give it an extra 40 or 50 cents. But you have to have the out one way or the other. At this point, taking pot shots at the short is probably the only thing left outside of SoFi 99, or I don't really see anything else. I'm just in this DPRO that's left, and we're able to get some out there. You're still seeing it hold, which is pretty interesting that it won't flush. You're still seeing it hold that $3 level. I've only gotten one leg out at 315. I should be a bit more aggressive taking the first 10 cents of this move if it wants to scalp in this range, but it's also 1040. Time to go over to Sector Watch. Pretty green board up there. God, bail me, please. Bail me out.
Yeah, nicely positive, guys, right across the entire board here. Let's have a look. Full percent, as I mentioned there, for the S&P, now 1.04, in fact, in positive territory. Really, the only thing of note here to the downside is going to be the energy group. The entire thing sliding along with crude oil prices now down 1.5% for oil. So all the producers back in negative territory. There's Pfizer having a bit of a negative day. Eli Lilly as well, 1.3 2.3 for Lilly and Pfizer. ALGN up there in the healthcare group. Positive news for them, up 5% on the day. Consumer discretionary stocks leading. Here's all the automakers, Ford, Tesla, and GM, all three in positive territory. There's Nike, 4.3%. Some of the travel names back to the upside as well, outside of CCL on the earnings report. It's all about the banks, though. It's the financial sector leading this rally right now. Basically every single one outside CME and AON in positive territory. Tech stocks, nice bounce back day as well. Semiconductors are strong, software makers, and the hardware equipment makers also in positive territory. So nice day so far, 1.02 for the S&P, guys. Back over to you.
The day is strong, and I was just whining and complaining. Well, I wasn't really. I was whining and complaining a tiny bit about DPRO not really going anywhere. The fact that it holds that low was great, that $3 when we got in. It's like, go more than that 10 cents. It finally just broke, of course, right after I get a little more out for the 10 cents. It then gives you that 320 fill. I'm still looking to cover some at 325. It's in a channel from $3 to 325 here that it would just make sense. Every time you get that low, if you like buying the dip, take a little bit out, hold on in case it can make that breakout. Once something does this, and I'm probably going to repeat myself for like a millionth time about these runners, you know, once it makes that sort of failed break to the upside at the open, what you're looking for, or at least I'm looking for, is can it then hold the pre-market support? And if it does that, usually there's like an afternoon break, but it's a big but. A lot of times that'll happen after, you know, like 12:30, 1:30. So you want to be sitting in this. A lot of times you might miss out on catching that bid. The other way to play it is if at like 1 o'clock you get a volume spike through 3:30, or maybe it's 1:30 or whenever it happens to be, you just take the punch long through 3:30 and then try to play it toward those highs. In this case, we were watching the stock all morning and worth getting in here off that $3 level. We're in at 305. LLL, still pretty active. So we got the short, it worked out, then we got stopped out, took our hit on the last little bit, trying to hold for that home run at 5 even, and then it comes right back. It goes to VWAP at 550. It's still putting in a nice range, top end of the range, and there's another wick off candle through 6 even. It's continuously try to break. That's what leads me to not look for the long in this trade. Every time it takes out a significant level, it's just dumped, right? Like 650 came again and it was dumped. It broke 6 even here and it was dumped. So the sellers are taking advantage of that breakout to then sell more shares into that momentum, right? So people taking breakout longs up at these levels in the LLL are just getting immediately faded. So that's why I'm only looking for shorts on this. I don't want to say for the rest of the day, but it would have to probably take out 7 even for this to really get going again. And every time it gets close, you're seeing what happens.
All right, so, excuse me. Ford, good thing we got out of the way of Ford. Let us get back in right now. So we're long at 9. Oh, crap, I thought I was long at 8s. We're long at 9s now on Ford, and maybe we were right by leaving this one alone. First of all, right now, $2 in the money as we roll the dice with NVIDIA, as that's still working. I'm going to give Ford back down to 17. So we're in this position. We have not enough shares yet. So, like I said, I thought I was starting to build this at 8, but it looks like it's at 9. I might just get out of here a little bit if we can now, because this is not the right price. I think Ford just there we go. We'll take out a half for 2 penny hit and nothing, but we'll wait now. I just gotta see about this. What is it, 16.95? The problem with Ford is it just came back in. It's just so weak. Like it's not the right stock. I feel like so. On that note, I'm just gonna get out if I can on Ford. See if I can take an 07 and get out. Now it's going down to 06. So we'll offer. There we go. We'll offer 06 and get out of that trade. I just don't want to be in this name right now on Ford. So small little hit there as we were long 9s, out 7s, out 6s. Again, I told you I wasn't in this for a big trade, so we'll wait. We'll have to wait on Ford. If anything, it might be a short off there. The way it's trading now, it doesn't want to go up. So if its stock doesn't want to go up, therefore, she must go down. 271.50 right now for NVIDIA. That looks like that's going to be a good call. If this breaks through here, we're gone. We're well worth the risk here for NVIDIA. The futures, we still have faith that they're going to go to the upside. But if you break this 50 period, which it's going to do right now, then we're going to get out of here. I got to put my order in. But 269.50, we're going to be gone on NVIDIA. Damn it, man. We gave up that $1.50 on the high side. What can we do? We're trying to hold for a little bit more. But there it comes flush down. We got to look for something to get short.
For me, it's going to be SoFi. I just double-checked Tesla because with the market screaming like this, the first thing I was thinking about was, Oh, come on, like you got to be at 950, right? Or at least close to 950. No, of course not. It's like 938. It hasn't broken the 943 level. That just happens to be yesterday's high, and you're going to see it hold that. So I don't know what's holding Tesla up here, but for whatever reason, you just cannot seem to see it get strong enough. And I know it's a super strong name. It's just not strong enough. There's not as many shares on the offer that I would have anticipated on SoFi. So I just got filled at 95. To the south side, but there's about 70,000, give me a break, is that it? 70 to 80,000 shares on SoFi's offer from what I can see at $10, which is pretty insignificant. So I don't know if I want to be sort of getting into more like 98, 99, like that whole game. The notion of an even dollar level like that is so that there would be size at the level. So you're not going to see me add 99. It's not when the level legitimately has, I'm just looking, it's right there right now to 70,000 shares. If it breaks, I'm out. If it breaks and then does like immediate retracement and size shows up, I would get back into it, but not what I was expecting to see on the level 2 here in SoFi.
Okay, so we just take the shot and get out right there, 270.50. So we take $1 right there. We'll stack up the cash on NVIDIA. Very, very nerve-wracking watching these futures come back in here and possibly giving that dollar back. So we did miss out on $1 because it was at 271. Forget about 272. We weren't going to take that. But maybe this 271 we should have taken. So that's 271.50. That's 270.50. So we'll give up the $1 on this name just to ring the register on it. Nice trade for me. And then look at Ford, man. Sometimes the spidey senses are accurate, man. We just should have gone short on Ford. We thought there was a problem with that move, and yeah, looks like we were right on that one. NEO, though, wow. I mean, wrong on this. First of all, our longs were right. Our longs are pretty good there, and then we just started shorting till eventually we got out there at what was a good level, man. 21.45 held. Now I want to go short. I want to go short this name. I just don't know if it's going to be in the cards today. I mean, these futures are wild, and so is NIO to the upside.
What the?
Like, is BABA 120?
GameStop.
Okay, what is that doing?
106, is that right? 106?
Ripped up to 106?
106? Oh, come on. Oh, now my chart doesn't want to, that NF problem. So
Are you
GameStop,
long or short SoFi, first of all?
I got out with broke 10.
Oh, broke
I got
up,
95 short. I didn't add because there was no size there. But yeah, wow, GameStop. So it already broken 100. Okay, that's why. It's already broken 100. I'm showing you my black chart because the other one, you saw it froze on me there. But 106 we just got to. I don't have any levels up here on GameStop, unfortunately. So it'll have to be the evens, like 110 at this point. I can't believe I missed that consolidation. Now does it want to load up here? Because it gave you like 20 minutes at between 100 and 102. Come on, give me a break. It gave you 20 minutes between 100 and 102. I thought we were going to get a chance for that one to load up down in here before making that break on huge volume. You can't see the volume. I'll do this for you. On huge volume. So the biggest volume spike of the day, equivalent to yesterday, on that secondary breakout. So GameStop, that's legit, this move. Maybe you can get to that 110 level. If you're going to fight GameStop, the thing about it's sort of similar to was I taught Pinduo Duo there, where if you're going to play 110, you might not want to just throw your stop at 110 even. You have to play around that 110 range if you want to short it. It might break it and then capitulate. So GameStop firmly on the radar now. If you got the long, congratulations to you. Can't believe you didn't miss that one. In a strong market, it should probably be checking on AMC as well.
Yeah, I will check AMC for sure. 1885, though, a nice buy here for CCL. Let's just see if it gets going. Yeah, thanks for the Spidey Sense comment there in the chat, whoever that was. I want to say someone said nice Spidey Sense. There it is. What's up, Elizabeth Goodyear? Nice, nice name. Yeah, speak about Elizabeth Goodyear. One of my tires has like a little small, not a hole in it, but leak, that's the word. It's been addressed, but I keep getting the warning on that one. So I bought one of these the pumps, your own pump. So now I don't have to pay $2 every time I go to the gas station to fill that bad boy up. Plus I need to get a new tire. So Elizabeth Goodyear, shout out to you. Okay, so CCL, a nice little move to the downside right now. 1850 has held. With that being said, and again, you know what? Nah, forget it, cancel it. I was gonna go long there, but I mean, it's more for the after show. We only have 10 minutes left. I don't know anything about their earnings, so I think we should probably hard pass on that. NVIDIA back down right now. And with this move down, I just think like NEO right there at that 2190. I wanna go short something, and I'm gonna go short NIO now. And I know that's been sort of death, but if these futures do come back down here, I feel like NEO's just had such a good run, man. Like, this has been an outstanding move today. We've cleared out, oh, now my charts won't load?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Loading a little bit, but I just wanted to see what we go back to here. We do have 22. Upside is 23 and change right now. Cannot believe this was $13. You're almost doubled your money in 5 trading days here. Not almost, but you're up 70% in 5 days. 23.15. I just feel like Neo has to come back to life at some point. And as I say that, I mean, it stops and goes right back upside. So I don't know, man. These futures are a little wild right now. DraftKings also at 20 is a name to look at. But for right now, it's Money Talks with Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, big moves again today for some currency markets. Once again, we saw the US dollar go red. It was up early, about 0.3. So continued strong US dollar, not benefiting some other currencies, including the Japanese yen. That's a daily chart of the yen versus the USD, just straight to the downside for a couple of weeks. There was one green day in there, but that was about it. So down again today, full percent for the yen, back to 82. Swiss franc slightly higher. Australia and New Zealand both higher on the day as well, but ever so slightly. Cryptocurrencies having a nice day, as we said, 42.8 for Bitcoin. Ethereum back above 3,000 as well, 3.5% for ETH, guys.
So I'm going to be back to these charts for you guys. SoFi made that break of 10 even. So we talked about the size not really being there on the offer, and then the only way to get back into it, or at least look at the short, would have to be on a failed breakout. So it does that. There's your wick top to actually 106. And then you're right back down below. I had 96 the first time, 97 the second time. I'll try to put up both the executions and I don't have executions on these charts that I use, but I do have orders so I can keep track of them. So you can see, like, I'm on the bid in front of 90s and in front of 85s. Maybe the other charts will load up. But back into SoFi now after that kind of fail break. Oh, yeah, now we're good. That's GameStop charts are working. So SoFi should work if I go to it now. GameStop got to 107. I'm going to 10 fade here, flip. There we go. So there's the executions. There's your break. I got out when it broke 10. See the wick top, right back in at the same levels in the consolidation. I was able to get some out there at 91s. I'm going to get some out there again in front of 85, and then down to a 975 hopeful print for SoFi. Remember what we said earlier? Like, when you make this trade, it's to that 975. Where you had the pre-market top in that breakout, and it's no further than that. Like, you're just looking to, catch something off an even dollar level and then play that quarter to the nearest point of potential support. It also happens to be, if you go back, like in the afternoon, this was resistance going back into yesterday. I guess yesterday at lunchtime, not really the afternoon. So that's the play here in SoFi. If it regains the high of the day, we'll just get out of it. Starting to curl now. I wish I had gotten to GameStop and liked 107, but I liked 110. It just pulled back $3. Big move there.
I mean, let's go money, because
money.
we did talk about YOLOing that SoFi trade down there at 850, now at $10. So that's a great little trade there. If anybody took that one, you are well rewarded for that right now. Yeah, what's up, Dinesh? So, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And Dinesh, you have some great ideas, by the way. Tweet at me and stuff like that. I think we are like-minded on some of these calls. I noticed you in the chat, so shout out to Dinesh. Yeah, so look, I mean, $22 is right. I mean, this is normally a level that I'm like all over right now, and I don't have a problem with you doing that. It's just, it's so strong. It's not like it's. The difference with here is that we've bounced around. We tested some 2140s, so on and so forth, 2135s. We tested it. We came in. We hit some longs. We got out. We retested it again, and we had some higher outs, which we took at 2144 there on that break. The problem with this 22 is I almost think it wants to take it, and then it might slam it back down. But you are resisting a little bit. If the futures do fall, I really like this play. You're up 8%. I think this is something that I could take for sure and not hold too far against. It's just, I really do feel like we crack, and I almost want to get the short breaking back down through 22. So let's see if it tests like 22.10 or something like that, and then we can go short and then use that 10 as our new high top. Like right now, we're just making new highs every single minute. We are going to go to Miss V in a second. I just want to talk quickly about this one as well. Right into here. So why are we short Ford? Again, yeah, I got this. $17 right here. We're short into this VWAP and 50 period. I'm just thinking the Spidey sense told me that it was short. We should have gone short here at 12. Instead, we didn't, and now we're paying the piper by trying to hold on to this one right now. If the futures crash, I do like Ford, and I do like to go to Brendan when we get a chance.
Just on a note on Elon Musk, the SEC saying he can't avoid scrutiny over his Tesla tweets. Okay. Tesla still nicely higher on the day. 1.75%, in fact, for Tesla. Let's get a check quickly here on what's coming tonight and tomorrow, guys, for earnings.
Okay, the big dog right in the middle there, Adobe. I really like Adobe.
Yeah,
I think you got to buy Adobe at these levels for sure. One of those names that we could talk about. We are going to be doing a video about buying names and stuff like that during some of these dips. Adobe, yeah, I don't know what we'll use, but Tencent's also another good name there, as is General Mills. I mean, there's a couple decent names.
I like
going
General
on there.
Mills.
Yeah, Colgate. I mean, yeah, there's some big earnings, but Adobe will lead the day tomorrow because of the tech.
Yeah, no question about it. And I don't just only like General Mills because I've told the story that my wife hates Kellogg's, and it's like it's a deep-seated hate. Like I don't get to eat Kellogg cereals anymore.
Yep.
At least I'm not supposed to. But either way, it's just General Mills. I think it's a good name, but you're right. There's no question.
What's wrong with Kellogg,
Adobe's,
by the way?
I shouldn't. She had a summer job there, and it's just whatever.
Okay,
it's just I shouldn't get into the story.
No, that's enough. Yeah,
we shouldn't be bad mouthing companies for like those types of reasons. But anyways, it's just it's a long story. I probably shouldn't tell because she might not want me to. But either way, General Mills interesting, but Adobe's going to be the mover. I think we all know that's going to be true. I want to go back. We only have 3 minutes to go here. And you know there's one more important thing than I can go over SoFi quickly, but I know there's a more important thing we have to do before we get out of here. It's got a buyer here at like in the low 90s, so it's doing that nice sideways consolidation, which you like for a retracement trade, but it's also not flushing. And it's not size on the bid. It's just every time a level gets taken out, there are buyers at this level. So a lot of times that can be a good sign for the bulls. But my stop is going to be at that high of the day. Quickly
before we go back to that call, what about this, Dinesh? Like, let's effing go right now. What exactly price? If you remember, what price did I say NEO might break through 22 and go to? Right, guys? I mean, I just talked about this 2 seconds ago. I said, let's let it go to 2010 like it just did. And then, holy shoot, this is a big win for me right now. Bang, let's go, NEO, as we're trying to get out of some of this one to the downside. Wow, a big flush, man. This is exactly, let's go. I need to spin this now. We just called this exact play. We said it's going to go up to 2010, 2210, and then break down off of that level, and that's the trade that we wanted. So there we go. What's up, Dinesh? Yeah, there it is. Shout out to you, my friend. Good thing. I hope you held it because that was the call that we made. We're in this at a nice price, man. 22.01. I didn't notice it enough because I was doing that stupid earnings board, which I really like, Brendan and Valeria.
Nothing wrong with it.
Hey guys, it's a busy morning so far. Hope you are doing great. Thank you so much for 2,000 likes, for all the super chats and support. And of course, join Pride on me right after to continue this intensive day. And happy National Bavarian Crepes Day, everyone.
What?
Intensive.
Oh,
Bavarian crepes. Yeah, get that dark chocolate up in there.
Oh my goodness.
We like those crepes.
Oh yes. And a little bit, is that little sea salt on there?
I don't know. It looks like some sea salt on there. Yeah, why not, man? Sea salt and chocolate, killing it.
That's not even fair.
No, it's not. And by the way, what else isn't fair is another floss for you guys as Ford. And again, the Spidey senses were strong on this one, man, as that's Roblox nearing 50. There goes.
We love
like
him.
Brandon. I mean, Brandon, you know, I get what they're doing, right? Put it on the handsome dude. I get it. Guys, enjoy. Look, I'm back at 2 p.m., but I'm not back until next Monday. So enjoy Arun. Obviously, there he's gonna have hopefully some bangers on board. Although I don't know, the last time he was like, "Oh, I'm only doing futures" because he had some equity missteps. But that's gonna always happen to all of us, Arun.
But that's
so he'll be back there tomorrow, killing it as per usual. There's lots of plays, man, to be had. We're short Ford right now. We're short NEO, which is, yeah, buddy, to the upside. We're super happy. Yeah, shout out to Arun. I already know he's on the futures already today. He's been making some big trades, so get ready for Arun tomorrow. Should be hot. Fire. There goes Ford.
Oh, and high of the day break on GameStop, so that 110 could come into play. But if you want to see that trading, probably go over to Trader Pratt and Ms. V right now.
Welcome to the midday show. It is Taco Tuesday. I'm just layering some orders here, trying to get some quick orders out. But yeah, welcome to Market Movers. It is time for the beautiful Miss V and Trader Pratt show.
That's right, guys. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please smash the like button and let's get it started. What are you trading right now, Brad?
Obviously trading a bunch of my setups over there, which is not worth talking about, but I've been trading a bunch of other stuffs over there. Trader Pratt today traded a low float stock. What do you know about that? That's right.